you got last night's
Line's
results?
good.
They're on?
I can't hear them.
We can't hear them. There you go. Now you can hear them. Hey, and I can hear you.
Good sweep.
Welcome to the Ashley Home Store Classic. It's the second year for this event. I'm Jock Tyre. I'm here with Elaine Dag-Jackson, national coach for Canada Curling.
Not too bad.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Welcome
Elaine.
to the curling game.
This is the semifinal action. Game time just a couple rocks away as the teams are setting up. We've got two very good teams in here playing against each other. From Scotland, we've got Glen Muirhead's rink. They're going to be throwing the Blue Rocks today. They're still out there for practice. And over on the Redstones is Matt Dunstone's rink. So most people are a little more familiar with the Dunstone rink as a Canadian team. Elaine, what do we know about Dunstone?
Well, everybody's been
Trying to
watching
do that
this
down
team
the
for a
street a
few
bit, I think.
years now. They have really made a bit of a come on, and lately they are
Yeah.
climbing the CTRS. And they've
Didn't
been
quite,
very
but still
good.
seeing some.
They've had a great year.
We here?
I think we're a broom
We bet for life.
almost middle or a broom inside
Number
middle.
13 in the world right now, so we expect that they're ready to go. They've impressed a lot of people here this week. People are watching them. They bring a lot of energy to the game. Everybody knows that Matt Dunstone is a two-time Canadian junior champion and comes into men's play with just massive confidence.
Line's not far away, is it?
Last year, Matt threw fourth rock
think
for
so, eh?
Steve
Okay.
Laycock's team.
15?
And Braden has played 4 seasons with Team Reed Carruthers, and this team is playing out of Saskatchewan.
All right, 15.
So Team Muirhead, you've got two sets of brothers here with Glenn and Thomas Muirhead, brothers of Eve Muirhead, and you've got Kyle and Cammie Smith. So kind of interesting. They were the silver medalists last year at the European Championships, which are just finished up. Bruce Mowat from Scotland just won that one yesterday, or 2 days ago, sorry, on Saturday. And so a very good Scottish team. Members of this team were at the Sochi. We're going to firm up whether at least Sochi World Juniors and at Pyeongchang. We're going to firm that one up. We're going to get all our info on that team, get a little more on that. But they've got lots of experience here. They've been traveling in Canada. I know that they were playing in Red Deer last week as well. So they're on their Canadian tour right now, trying, like a lot of European teams, to get out there and get some experience in Canada, where there's a lot more events than there is in the rest of the world.
End up down here
So
again?
right now, the teams are just positioning for who will have last rock in the first end. As it has been all tournament here, last rock has been determined by a last stone draw, a draw to the
And
button
if you guys
by
got a
one
sweeper,
selected
just heads up,
member
because
of
I
the
think you
team.
could slide forever.
Each of the team members had to throw one of those rocks in during the round robin.
maybe.
So there was 5
Okay,
games
we're
in the
okay.
round robin.
Way on line.
Each player has thrown one, and now they get to the playoffs.
We bet for
I believe
life.
that anyone can throw the draw. So this, I'm not sure if this is the last practice rock or if this is the actual draw, but we'll find out.
I think this may be the last practice.
And a very good practice. Last practice draw, just biting
Same
the
to a
top
bit
of the
less,
button,
eh?
Slight over curl, but a pretty good
Okay.
shot. And here comes
Going to keep the brush the same or just move it out?
Dunstone's
Should be
last
the
stone
same
draw.
speed, eh?
Put her on the bin, boys.
This is huge, this draw for Hammer. Getting Hammer in the first end means that you have approximately, probably at least 10% or
Okay, go
between
then.
10 and 20%.
Yeah, just head down and go.
Probability
Just head down
of
and go.
winning the game.
Just
Get
his
the
draw.
Hammer in the first end.
Head down and go.
Then, of course, what you do with it.
You gotta go, Deuce. Just head down and go. Just keep going. Keep going, Deuce. You got a chance.
Really working this
Just head down and go. Just keep going. Just keep going.
They're grinding this
Just
one
keep
out.
going. Don't stop. Go, go.
Look at that thing
Hard,
slide.
Hard. Keep going. Great sweep.
Just biting the top 4 foot. They sweat that pretty hard. Every
Probably
inch
at
counts
16
when it
and a
comes to
fucking
this
half
last
on
stone
that.
draw.
Sorry, boys.
Now they get the
Great scrub.
measure out. Sometimes they measure with a laser, sometimes they measure with a tape. And here at this tournament, they're using the conventional measuring tape.
And it's the opposition third, Kyle Smith, out there with the measuring tape for Team Scotland. I shouldn't call them Team Scotland. We've got 2 Scottish teams in this event today. I was talking to Team Muirhead, and their coach over here right now is Al Hackner. Al's been come in to work with them for this event, and working over with the other Scottish team is a former teammate of Al Hackner's, Ian Tetley.
Yes, we have a huge Canadian influence with the international teams this season. That is traditional. More and more Canadian coaches are finding their way into international competition. For good reason. Coaches are trained really well in Canada, and they have amazing skills, and some of the other countries have
Leave it late if
made
you're
good
close.
use of them, and here we see some great coaches coaching the two Scottish teams in Penticton here today.
Weight looks good on this one. They're not scrubbing quite as hard, just a little bit of a clean on the way to make sure it guides its way in. And might be a little bit warm, but it looks like that will be. Oh, nope. It looks like we're going to have a measure. Might be just a little more than they wanted on that one.
Yeah, pretty close, with one rock biting the front of the forefoot, one rock biting the back of the forefoot. The measure will be close, and we will see shortly who will take the hammer into the first end.
Oh, boy.
So it looks like.
Nah,
Did we get any
nothing like
indication?
rocks and hammer, boy.
Not yet. Everybody
Nothing
looks
like
happy.
rocks and hammer.
Both teams are happy going into this first end.
We'll see what color
we're
rock
going to
comes
stretch
up here
now.
first, with Team Dunstone throwing the red rocks
Donnie
and
took the day off work to
Team
come
Muirhead
watch.
throwing the blue rocks.
She's up there with Aaron.
Here we are live at the Ashley Furniture second annual
Holy, she's
cash
gonna be
spiel
in D on the way
down
home.
at the Penticton Curling
All
Club.
right, boys. Let's keep doing what we've been doing.
Yeah,
eh?
this has
The
become
quickest
a
we've seen.
pretty big stop on
For
the
sure.
World Curling Tour.
Keep that in mind.
No shortage of
Mine.
getting the top teams to come to this
Give
tournament.
everything top
Some
eight.
big prize money on the line here, and some of the big names were here this week, as they
Get
were
on
last
them.
week.
I think if score a deuce early, boys, it's going to suck the life right out of them. Let's go.
28, Kyle showed 28.
Seeing some good curl, though, too. Like, it's middle eight.
You're showing
Plus
57,
even
so
plus
he's
that.
16.
So we can hear Team Dunstone going over their last minute talk about what they expect to see in the ice conditions. You know, the pregame practice, even though they only get one rock up and one rock back, it gives them a really good opportunity to get a good feel for the ice, the weight, the lines. They count every rock that's gone down each path so that they can memorize and map the ice throughout the game. They're always aware of exactly where those rocks have been.
With it just being an 8-end game and 5-rock rule, it means that the teams are really going to get into it right away. It generally means you're going to mix it up pretty well. With no fear of drawing, they've had their practice in. So here we go. Cammy Smith, the lead for Team Glen Muirhead, throwing the first stone of the end.
And that last stone draw to the biting the top of the forefoot was good enough for Matt Dunstone.
Line's
He
good.
was able to get the hammer.
Kind of a traditional start, throwing it just a little bit outside the rings. There's a fair bit of curl, so you don't want to be too tight so that you can bury him behind. But you also want to be too far away. Dunstone going in right away, top four. Dunstone rink throwing the red rocks today. Muirhead throwing the blue. We got no score. We're just in the first end here. And Team Dunstone has the
Line's
hammer.
good.
Over on the
tight
other
line.
semi-final, we've got Ross Patterson, also from Scotland, up against Jason Gunlinson, and they're almost done their first end. We'll give you updates throughout the game on what's happening over there in the other semi-final.
Line's real good. Both go for weight if you need.
So we do have some mics out there this morning.
Line's
We're
real
gonna
good. Just keep going.
Make sure
Keep
that
going.
we give you an opportunity to listen in on the game.
God,
That's
dude.
a real privilege of watching a curling game, is that we get up close and personal. We get to listen in to what
Did you
the
see enough?
athletes are talking about out there, and it allows those at home to learn a little bit more about how we make those amazing shots in these highest level tournaments.
So being very conservative here, playing the run back on their own guard, which with the 5-rock rule, they're allowed to remove their own guards, but they can't remove opposition. So this is a straight run back and a beautiful little roll there by Cammy Smith. Nice little hit and roll in behind cover.
Stop 12.
here at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. Again, we're in the semifinal action with no score early in the first end. We're just in lead stones. I've noticed a lot of rocks in play, Elaine, over the course of this weekend. Been some amazing competition. But I noticed with the 5-rock rule, some of the teams seem to be taking advantage of it very early, where other teams are being a little more conservative. Today, it looks like maybe Team Muirhead's being a little more conservative, playing that run back.
I would agree, Jock. I think
That's good.
I think we have two teams out here that are very, very used to this 5-rock rule. The Canadian teams have been playing this rule for several years at the slam events, so they've had a lot of practice and a lot of opportunity to test out the different plays that they're going to use in the different scoreboard situations. So I think on the other sheet here, there are a lot more rocks in play than there are on sheet B, where we have our eyes right now, but we will visit sheet D throughout the game and keep you updated there. Over in our game on B, with the hammer, Team Dunstone is either going to be looking for a way to score their second point, so they spend the whole end trying to position their second point. They want to score more than one, or they want to blank. So they don't want to take too many chances, but they want to give themselves a reasonable chance to score 2.
No, they're dead even.
Ideally, you'll often see these teams blank the first end and score 2 in the second, which puts them in a very good position.
Looks like the call here at this early in action is he's trying to blow out those guards. The blue Muirhead stone is nicely buried in there, and I don't think Matt Dunstone's team from Regina doesn't want to take too many chances. They look like they're going to try and clean it up just a little bit.
Clean.
Again, both teams maybe being a little bit conservative on the early going.
Close. We're getting through the hole. Good.
And with that shot, chances are becoming greater that we're going to see a blank end in the first end. Of course, Team Muirhead is going to do everything possible to force Team Dunstone.
So again, Muirhead lying 1 here and is going to elect to try and remove that red stone, maybe get a little bit of a roll off to the side to lie 2, see if he can force the hand of Matt Dunstone. A little bit of a down weight hit here, a little more control on this stone. A nice little roll to cover it and lie 2.
He did leave that rock in a position where it's a pretty straightforward double for a team like this. You'll probably see nothing in the house in a few moments, or perhaps the red will stick, but we are definitely probably heading towards a blank end in the first here.
Yep. Yes. Just keep going, Deuce. Gotta go.
Nice shot, beautiful double, little roll to the sides, and now it's looking a little bit more like a blank situation.
Yeah, and you don't see these teams miss that shot very often. The closer the rocks are together and the more aligned they are in a line, that run-through double is pretty straightforward. It's a very high percentage shot at this level of play.
Over in the other semifinal, the Ross Patterson rink from Glasgow forced Jason Gunlison's Morris, Manitoba rink to draw in for 1 against 4 stones. So over on the other semifinal, it's Gunlison 1, Patterson no score after the first end on sheet D. Nice little hit and roll in there to the middle.
Easy.
Team Muirhead just wanting to move that rock around the house to make it a little bit more challenging. It is a straightforward shot, but the goal is to maybe get that rock in a spot that Team Dunstone hasn't thrown down yet. Maybe get a rollout, maybe get a accidental hit and stick on the last one. And Team Dunstone just practicing the lines here to.
That was the first stone for Braden Muscowie from Regina, Matt Dunstone's 3rd. A little bit, maybe a little bit on the outside, or a little difficulty in the ice reading there, but he rolls out. I think the intent certainly was to stick around on that one. Giving a free draw here for Kyle Smith. with an open house. And again, looking like we're heading towards a blank end.
Team Muirhead using every opportunity here to get draw weight. It is a real opportunity to have a draw to the house in the first end rather than a hit. Both teams trying to ensure they've got all the shots in their pocket before they move on to a more complicated game, and having an open draw to the house is a really good opportunity to practice.
Yep.
So he's called the out-turn hit on this one. It looks like he's hoping for a little bit of a roll, or holding it as straight as they can. And they're going to get a little roll to the wings. Make life a little, maybe a little more challenging for Team Muirhead. The only hope they've got there is that maybe they don't know the ice quite in that spot yet early in the game. And they're hoping for a miss on this one.
So we're in Penticton, British Columbia, in the heart of the Okanagan, a beautiful little city that is an amazing host for these kind of tournaments. They've hosted a lot of curling events in the last little bit. Last year, the Penticton Curling Club hosted the 2018 Scotties, which was an amazing event right next door in the arena in this beautiful complex. Jennifer Jones won that tournament and went on to go to the World Women's Curling Championship in North Bay, Ontario, winning the gold medal there. So Penticton has been a wonderful host. We'll talk more about that as this game progresses. But right now we're just in the first end of the semifinal.
We're looking at Matt Dunstone's first stone here. He's throwing red rocks. This is the semi-final action against the Blue Stones of Glen Muirhead from Scotland. Just playing a nice downward control weight hit. Seems like any kind of hit weight at all here, and the rocks tend to track fairly straight. But we get lots of curl when it comes to the draws.
Yeah, we'll talk more about those lines and those draws as we see the shots get a little bit more complicated, but weight control is huge here in these very nice ice conditions in Penticton. Lots of late finish on the draw weight and a little bit of late finish on the down weight shots. But any weight at all, that rock's going to run pretty straight. And we're just playing out the first end here. It's really wide open.
And again, the same shot here. He's for Glen Muirhead. Three out of the four players played together this year with this team. Last season it was Kyle Smith skipping his own rink with Thomas Muirhead at third and Cammy Smith playing lead. They've brought in Thomas's older brother Glenn to skip the rink, and then the two players moved down to create this squad for the 2018-19 season.
Well, with the hammer here, Matt Dunstone just wants to see this rock go away. He's going to throw some good weight at it, take very little ice, and roll out to blank the end.
Glen Muirhead last season actually was playing with Tom Brewster, and they had a very successful season last year. Second at Europeans last year. And trying to retain the hammer, throwing a little more weight here. Matt Dunstone. And it looks like we've got a little bit of an over curl already, and it looks like it's going to be a one. He's going to stick around and take one. That's definitely a miss for Dunstone. Not going to be happy about that, only getting his single point and giving up the hammer here in the first end. So after one end, the score goes Matt Dunstone 1, Team Muirhead no score at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. Again, this is the second year for the Curling Classic.
And over on the other semi-final, we did see a little bit more complicated end over there, as we do in the second, but that complicated end, there were a lot of gunless and shots, blue rocks in the house. But Patterson did force Gunnison to take the one. I believe they did have a measure over there for second shot. And it's 1-0 for Gunnison. Playing halfway through the second end. They are a little bit ahead of our game. And we'll keep you updated on that game as well.
So lead for Matt Dunstone, Dustin Kidby, sorry. Setting up the first end.
Buck's here. Cool. I get this.
That's going to go behind the tee line. Is being taken back by Glenn Muirhead, almost making that rock a non-in-player stone.
That's a miss for Team Dunstone. We never want to see a rock behind the tee line, but especially when you've just given up the hammer. The opposition has a few different strategies that they will use to try to get their 2 points, and having one behind the tee line is a very good thing for Team Muirhead. If Dunstone's calling that rock into the house, they want that top 4, top 8 in a place where it's going to get in the way for the opposition.
See the skip coming out to help take that stone back, and they've got their corner guard just about where they want it. Maybe wanted it a shade deeper, as it does curl a fair bit there, making it accessible on the hits. We can see both games there for a second. It was fun to watch because there is a lot more stones over in play on the other side. A little bit of pressure being put on Jason Gunlinson over there on the sheet D in the other semifinal. And again, Gunlinson up 1-0, but without the hammer here in the second end of the other semifinal over on sheet D at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. This is the stone I think Matt was looking for in the first lead stones thrown by Dustin Kidby.
Yeah, and after that first rock going deep, Matt's just trying to position the rocks the best he can in order to force the opposition to one. That rock in the back again is a friend for Team Muirhead. We may see that rock come into play a few rocks from now. For now, they're going to go around that corner guard, trying to get their second point in play.
So with the 5-rock rule here, you cannot throw a hit on a opposition stone in the free guard zone. In the free guard zone, Elaine is defined as above the tee line. I decided to wait until Elaine had a sip of coffee in her mouth before I asked her a question. So above the tee line, between the tee line and the hog line, excluding the rings, that is the free guard zone. So until the 6th rock at the end comes into play, you cannot throw a hit on any opposition stones in that area. So here we are into Catlin Schneider is throwing here for Team Dunstone. He can throw a hit on that rock in the house, which looks like what they're calling a downweight hit.
So that 5th rock of the end has become a very important rock in the game of curling. Now, we are seeing the seconds playing more precision shots with that rock. They need to be able to play a finesse shot, be really specific with their weight control in order to get that rock in a really good position without being allowed to peel any of the rocks in the free guard zone. So
that call was a freeze. Sorry, it wasn't a hit on that one. And he comes up just beside it. That's got to be considered another miss, I would think. They were hoping for a freeze onto that corner rock. So Team Muirhead's got to be pleased right now. They've got their corner guard. They've got their play in the rings where they want it to be on the sidelines.
You guys didn't really touch it at all. 14 lead on that.
Hack, wait. Half stone at hack.
I think if you're throwing it, I can give you that broom inside of center there.
This is Glenn Muirhead's brother Thomas throwing. It looks like a little bit of a tap and a hope of a roll. But it's going to have to thread the needle through this port here as they come off that center line really quickly. The sweeper's trying to hold it.
I love that old curling term, Jock, thread the needle. We're going to put that in the new curling glossary.
And indeed, a beautiful shot there. Nice little roll. It is in the back, but right now I think advantage Team Muirhead in this one with the hammer trailing 1-0. They've got a couple rocks in play and a corner guard, which is what they were looking for.
So Team Muirhead would have liked to try to keep that shot that hit and rolled over a little bit. They would have liked to try to keep that rock a little bit higher in the house. Rocks behind the tee line are not ideal. They are sitting 2, but they are in a position that Team Dunstone can pretty much take this end away with a great shot.
That's Caitlin Schneider, second for Matt Dunstone.
And Caitlin played out of BC last year with Team Jim Cotter, so we feel like he's almost like a home team member here, representing BC a little bit.
Nice little guard, nice little draw here coming around that guard. He's got some really good line. He really wants to get that at least half buried so the Muirhead team can't get access to it without jamming it onto their own stone at the back.
Take the guard off.
So there's a few reasons why that's a really great shot. One of them is the position on that blue rock, that corner position, just a little bit off, requiring a lot of precision to get it either by on either side of that blue rock. The other one is the weight. It's in front of the tee line. It's very close to the forefoot. It's just pretty much a perfect position for that shot. Just a little tighter to the rock, to the blue rock, would have made it impossible to not lose the back blue rock.
So he's running that back, and he has picked his own stone out of there on the back and rolled towards the center. Not a great shot for Team Muirhead, as Thomas, I think, got a little bit on the outside on that one. Thomas has a little more traditional Manitoba tuck delivery there, and when you see the straw broom wrapped up in the tape. So it went from being definitely a strong advantage for Muirhead to being advantage Dunstone here as they play a hit and are going to be lying 3 in just a moment.
Now Matt did look for a moment at possibly playing a draw. Because that rock is behind the tee line and it's only second shot, he could have put a little bit more pressure on Muirhead by drawing in more in front of the tee line behind those guards, but he's electing to play the little bit more defensive shot, or a little bit more, I guess, ensuring that he's not going to be giving up multiple points by removing all opposition stones. And I would tend to agree with that call. However, he did roll a little bit too far. Hit and roll here brings that opportunity for 2 back into play. The key here will be to try to stay above the tee line on this roll.
Just a quick update over here on sheet D. It looks like Ross Patterson from Glasgow is drawing in for his 3rd point. And I can't see if is there a rock there. Maybe he's hitting for his 3rd point. No, it looks like just a draw. He's already lying 2. Back over to our game. Nice little hit and roll, but not quite far enough. You could hear Go Thomas as he was trying to get a little more roll on that and get a little more curl happening. But it's still hanging out there.
Just a hair more weight.
And indeed, it looks like a 3 for Ross Patterson over Jason Gunlinson. So it's now after 2 complete over in the other semifinal. Jason trailing 3-1, but has the hammer back. Back onto our sheet. Braden Muscoe is playing a little hit and roll himself here, hoping to get what Muirhead couldn't get on his last shot and get an inside roll.
Yeah, both teams kind of giving the advantage back and forth here. One big shot is going to put somebody in a good position here, but they're not quite getting the rolls that they're looking for. So once again, Team Muirhead has an opportunity to tuck one behind on a nice little roll here. So hits and rolls are not easy. They are probably one of the lower percentage shots called and made in the game of curling. So if you're hoping to achieve the next level of curling performance, that's a really great thing to take to practice. hit and rolls and on each different set of ice conditions, there's a perfect way to make that shot. The right weight, the right line, bringing the sweepers into it, and this one looking a lot better. That was great weight. They brought the sweepers into that shot by allowing them to finish that rock.
Control like a normal at it too.
Nice.
What I find impressive is that these teams, both these teams, are very capable of throwing it really firm, and but they're choosing to have much more control weights on their hits and rolls. The one really only firm shot that we saw earlier was Matt Dunstone's attempt to blank an end, and instead he hit it on the nose and scored his one. So that brings us to the second end with Muirhead having the hammer. So these control weight, they are much more accurate with their control weight, and their sweepers have some guidance that they can put on those rocks versus the big weight hits.
Yeah, as you say, Jock, weight control is huge at this level of curling performance. These teams, they play more than hits and draws. They play all different types of varieties of hit weights, and that requires a lot of practice, a lot of training to make sure that you've got all the skills to back up those different weights. It requires really detailed communication and conversation between all four players, all four athletes as the rock progresses down the ice.
Very traditional tuck delivery there with Matt Dunstone. Heavy on the sweeping call here. They're trying to keep that rock straight and play the run back, and he does make a beautiful shot, but he looks like he might roll that shooter right out, and it sticks around a lie too.
The goal there was firstly to make that blue rock go away, prevent the opposition from having a chance to get more than 1 point. So plan A was to make the rock go away. The ideal shot, of course, would have been to stay in the house and not allow Team Muirhead a free run at the house here. If they had had to deal with another opposition rock in the house, then they've got to think about whether they're going to hit it or whether they're going to take a risk on going for the draw. But now there's no question with the two little 12-foot biters behind the tee line. This is a very low-risk shot and could set them up for what we call the skip's deuce.
Aye, behind the blue.
So he'd like to tuck it in behind his own stone so that if there is a run back there, they can't run their own red stone back.
We're leaving him a run back, but we can't leave him a straw. Same as
Glenn Muirhead actually is a farmer, Elaine. He's a farmer. He's a sheep farmer in Scotland. There's actually two farmers on the team. The other one's a potato farmer, so they between the two of them, they could make a lovely stew.
Meat and potatoes. Well, farming is a great career to have, a curling career on the side. You might get a little bit of a late start in the fall, but you should have some time in the winter.
Leave it late if you're close, guys.
So we'll see if they're able to get this rock to make its way behind this guard. They're managing it. They really want to wait till the end and have a chance to be able to sweep it for the finish. If the rock's a little heavy, it will not break early enough to curl.
And it's definitely going back.
So that rock is
just behind the tee.
Is behind the guard, but the further it is behind the guard, the easier it is to access.
Yeah, I think so. Let's make the run.
And
So Elaine, you know, it's just a little bit behind that tee line. Early in the end, that can be fatal, where a team can draw down and get shot and frozen to that stone. But this one, is it quite as important in this one?
late in the end, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Team Dunstone, Matt has one shot at this. He could play a freeze to force, or he could play a run through to make sure that there's no chance of getting more than 1 point. So both shots are difficult. This run back for most teams, it is difficult, but I would say for Matt Dunstone, it's right up his alley. It's his comfort zone, and this is the shot that he loves to play, and he certainly makes a lot of them.
So he's playing a little bit of an out-turn hit here. Again, he's calling sweep hard early. It looks like it's already crossed the line. It might be on that blue stone already. Oh no, it just by, and that's going to give a as we like to call it, a free draw, but it's not quite a free as there's a couple rocks in the back here. So Team Muirhead has already got their single point. They're now drawing in for their second point to see if they can't make this a 2-1 game here in the second end at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic semifinal.
Now, a lot of times you think that a deuce has to be set up early in the end, that you need to have a corner guard in play or a great hit and roll earlier in the end, but this end has shown us how one good shot will set up the opportunity for the two. The later the two is set up in the end, the more of a chance that their team is going to be able to hold that two to the end of the end, and in this case, Team Dunstone only had one shot at that rock. It was a reasonably difficult shot that wasn't made, and now the opportunity for 2 points scored just with 2 rocks.
You see the sweeper on it right away to try and manage that stone down the path. The line really shouldn't be that big of an issue, so it's all in the sweeper's hands to make sure that it finishes in the scoring area, which is a little bit smaller than the 12-foot, as there's 2 red stones there at the back here that he's got to beat out. And it looks like beautiful draw weight right into the button.
And you note how they sweep that rock right to the button. It's an opportunity. They don't just want to hit the paint on that shot. They want to give the skipper an opportunity to draw to the button. You know, a lot of times later in the game, that shot becomes very, very important. Draw to the side of the button to win a game. He's had a rehearsal here in the second end. He's got that shot made once already. If he ends up having a draw later in the game, this shot builds a lot of confidence towards that. It allows the sweepers to really judge that rock to perfection.
So here at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic, after 2 complete, it's now Team Glenn Muirhead 2, Matt Dunstone 1. And Matt's from Regina. Here we are at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. Over in the other semifinal action, it's Ross Peterson from Glasgow, up 3-1 on Jason Gunlison from Morris, Manitoba. And Gunlison now has the hammer.
So this Penticton Curling Club is a real good news story in curling. A lot of clubs in Canada have been facing difficulties in recent years in keeping membership up and keeping volunteers involved and even just paying the bills to keep the doors open. But Penticton has taken on a huge profile in the community by hosting events here in Penticton, events that volunteers have put just countless hours into making these events a huge success. I mentioned that they hosted the most recent Scotties Tournament of Hearts, the 2018 Scottie that was won by Team Jennifer Jones. They were able to reap a lot of benefits from hosting that event. They made some money. They applied for matching funds for raising some money and have been able to do a lot of improvements to this building that is getting a little bit older. It's not old in terms of curling clubs in Canada, but there's always maintenance costs with upgrading equipment and so on, and hosting these events has been a huge benefit to the Penticton Curling Club in their ability to replace some of the equipment in the rink and keep this club vibrant and running.
So we've got that center guard set up here by Team Muirhead, and Dunstone opting to draw in. He didn't get the corner that he was hoping, so he brings it back a little bit further. So Muirhead, again, both these teams are actually being fairly conservative here. Muirhead's just playing, instead of another guard or wrapping around, he's playing the little hit and roll here with Cammy Smith's second stone here in the third end.
Yep.
So I'm Elaine Dag-Jackson, and I'm here with Jock Tyre. We're hosting the broadcast here today. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast. If you have any questions for us, you could always tweet them out.
It did need to go.
At 4-Foot Curling is my Twitter handle, at numeral 4 FOOT Curling. Send us a comment or a question.
They've been streaming this event live, but thanks to Shaw, we're getting this opportunity here for the semifinals and the finals to broadcast it on Shaw TV.
Clean.
Lots of action going on over there on the other side in the other semifinal. Again, Team Patterson up 3-1 on Jason Gunlison and playing in the third end over there. And Gunlison lying 2. Patterson's got a bit of a situation over there, trying to decide how he wants to try and get some control, make sure Gunlison doesn't, probably playing the scoreboard a little bit, can't get more than a deuce there. Back on our sheet, on sheet B, where it looks like, again, we've got that single center line guard here in the third end, and we're into second stones. They're playing a little hit and roll for Team Muirhead. That's Thomas Muirhead, Glenn's brother, playing a little hit and roll. And again, we're seeing a lot of that control weight.
Yep.
And he gets the hit, but not the roll.
Throw it half under. Even that. Quad.
So Muirhead leads this game 2-1 in the third end. Dunstone has the hammer.
We've only got about a foot to play with there. I'm just not wanting to overcook it. We've not got that much room to play with rolling high.
Clean. Whoa.
So one of the
Oh, no.
other things that is really important in hosting or running a successful curling club is having a manager who is really energetic and skilled. And Kathy Jones here in Penticton is known far and wide, and especially as we've got to know her better in the last 2 seasons with the events they've hosted here. But she has been a force of energy and encouraged the local people here to jump on the bandwagon and host these events. And that has been such a benefit to the Penticton Curling Club. Curling is not declining in Penticton. Membership is up at this small club in the Okanagan by 150 members. And that's a really great number.
That's a great news story for the Valley. The anytime that curling sees growth, it's good for everyone in the area. It's good for the community. It does bring a lot of people in. People just don't understand how many curlers come into town simply because curling's going on, be it as a spectator, be it as a competitor. The economy always does well when curling's doing well. So Dunstone choosing to draw in around that center guard. So this is a little bit of aggression going on here. Trailing 2-1 here in the third end of the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic semifinal.
So it is only the third end, but Team Dunstone is down 1.
Yes. Mosky goal.
So they want to make a reasonable attempt to even up that score and get into an advantageous scoring position, which would be tied with hammer, or tied with hammer, or 1 up without, but not down 1. So they're trying to even up the score and get into the more advantageous position of being 1 up without or tied with.
Yeah.
And that was a nice draw.
Looks like there's a little bit of room on that rock, not a lot, but they're going to play that upweight hit that we were talking about earlier, saving it for these situations. Playing a run back here.
Lean.
And he picks it out, but he does not stick around. He was hoping to hit it and roll, or hit it and stick around at least to have Matt go against something. But Matt gets another opportunity, and Muscovy does. Braden Muscovy does get an opportunity here for to try that draw again.
And it's always a great thing to be able to try that draw again. Anytime you have an opportunity to play the same shot twice, you know, you've just rehearsed it, you've just made the shot, now you want to make it just a little bit more perfect.
Close cat. Close cat. You might have to.
A little more distance between the guard and this draw would be ideal.
And you can see it's finishing quite nicely as it's coming in there.
Okay, just get it
But it looks like it might be a little bit deep,
make some room,
which
dude.
is not what they want.
That's good. Yep. Good.
And that's going to give an opportunity for Muirhead maybe to play a straight hit.
Freeze it.
Because it does come up, he's going to call the freeze.
Yeah, so we always want to see the sweepers
Do you mind what turn?
making an impact on that shot, and in that instance they were not able to. The rock was a little heavy, so they were just basically walking it down there. If they have a chance to, if it's a little bit lighter, they have a chance to do a little sweeping at the end and encourage that rock to curl when it's finishing is the time it's going to curl the most as it's slowing down.
Over in the other semifinal on sheet D, Jason Gunlison is lying 1 on the Ross Patterson rink. Jason's trailing 3-1, but he has an opportunity to tie it up right now with his draw. He just has to hit into the 8-foot to get his second point and tie this other semifinal up in the third action of play. Back on our sheet, they're playing a come around, trying to freeze to the back one.
Wouldn't worry about the line, just get it there.
And you hear the skipper giving a little bit of grief to the front end as they left that rock a little bit short, and they wanted to make sure that that got right to the backing.
So those are unforced errors that are so critical at this level of play. You know, we look at that shot and we think that's a pretty good shot, but they did have an opportunity to make that shot much more perfect by taking that rock right down to the back rock there, by making sure that they could not remove this blue rock without removing the red rock as well.
So it's official over there on sheet D. Jason Gunlison does make the draw. It was a little titch heavy and a little bit of concern there at the end, but it does stop in the back 8-foot, and he does tie this game up. So it is now 3-all. Ross Patterson, Jason Gunlison, but Patterson now has the hammer.
And in Jock's curling lingo, it was a little titch heavy. And we are creating some new glossaries for curling here today. The dictionary of curling, according to Jock.
A wee titch heavy. So there's a little bump on that one, and again, there's some space between those rocks, so I think it looks like Glenn Muirhead's going to come down to it and hopefully bump it back just a shade or freeze. Indication is he wants to freeze right to it and force the 1.
This line's as quick as this line. Is it?
You can hear Muirhead talking to his front end players, getting as much information as he can. Sounds like they're talking about the slide path and how quick it is down that path.
See a great pre-shot routine here.
Calls right off right away.
No.
Little concern about the weight on this shot.
Thomas. Oh. Thomas only.
So he's looking to try and get that stone to curl a little
Carve
bit.
it.
And he's got the little bit of curl there. Got right to the nose and has bumped it back, but it looks like he has left a very small window of opportunity here for Matt Dunstone.
So you can see the complicated situation that has arisen here from that one red stone going back house instead of top house. Now we have a long line of freeze on top of freeze and a much more complicated situation than Matt Dunstone would have liked to see here. All comes from one shot. Late in the end, it was a backhand shot.
We tuck a piece under.
But they've greatly reduced the scoring area for Matt Dunstone.
You think you can make that? Go for it.
I think we have to, eh?
Sure.
We almost have to go for it, I think, right? Yeah. Not quite back line. I'm throwing this.
Yeah.
I think we have to.
Sure. Go hard on it.
Yeah. Right there.
So he
I
sees
think
an
so.
opportunity here, and he's calling the just, it sounds like just a back 8-foot, back 12-foot weight tap on that blue stone. Trying to get around, he's got to get to the nose of it, you got to think, Elaine.
Yeah, you know, that was a really great conversation there. Matt said we kind of have to go for it. He knows anytime you play a little bit of a risky shot, you are taking a risk, but the opportunity in this case he feels outweighs the risk. So the thing about that, about this shot is that the blue rock could probably touch that red rock on the way by, and it's got a catcher behind it. So there are a few different ways that this shot could be made.
Very controlled weight here. He's not trying to remove anything from play. He's just trying to move him around, see if he can get himself positioned to get a 2 or maybe even a 3 in this end. It's coming up really fast right now. Has he got by the guard? No, he has not gotten by that guard. And it slides in. Now they're watching it to see if they can use that angle a little bit to their advantage on his next stone.
So that may look like a huge mistake, but it is consistent with what we have seen this week. That every once in a while there'll be a rock at a certain speed near that center guard, and it'll just finish a little harder than the teams expected. So I've seen that on an out turn and an in turn throughout this week of curling, that they kind of watch it all the way down, and then it makes a late break, and they just get on a little bit late.
That goes, does it?
I mean, you've got to,
Sure
your teams have to predict those breaks. And I mean, that's the tough part of being about a sweeper and a line caller. You've got the sweepers are worrying about the weight. The person in the house, skip or third, is worrying about the line. So it's predicting that break and when it's going to break for you. Because it just seems once it starts to go, there's almost no controlling it. You have to get on it a few feet before that break.
Let's listen in here.
Alright, we guard here and then say to them, draw the out turn for 2. Shot here with that.
Well, that's another thing. That's a good option, to be honest.
If we just nose, yeah. If we just nose, actually, he's probably got a nose hit for 2 because that sure is going to outturn the blue.
Yeah, I know, but aye, why don't we play that? Bump this to the freeze, and then we sit on top.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking too.
What?
Like, do we need to do it? We can just throw it with this.
Then do we not leave a double?
So it looks like a little offense versus defense here. Do they take away that slash that they've got the hit and roll in, or do they do it themselves, or do they play a little bump back to see if they can?
So we're just a fraction
steal a
high
point.
nose, bump.
I think so.
So it's basically the same shot.
Pretty much. If we just try to think how it goes wrong.
Somehow leave him a double for 2, an easy double for 2.
I mean, this one should always be safe, is my thinking.
What's he going to have off this?
I don't think anything.
Okay then.
Okay, that was a great discussion. Pros and cons of each of those shots. They've made a decision. They're going to go with the tap.
A little bump back, try to lie first and second shot, or at least first, and hopefully not leave a double for Matt Dunstone.
Just T-line. We're bumping it like a foot.
T-line, bump a foot.
Can't score if he makes it, eh? Like a back liner.
Maybe. You reckon?
What a great conversation, making sure the front ends know what the exact call is here. The weight is so important on this shot.
Thomas!
Looks like that rock needs to curl a little.
Nope, they're sweeping against the curl now. Looks like the weight is good and the line is good. Looks like a beautiful shot. He has definitely got himself lying shot, but he's also, looks like he might have opened up the door and left that run back double.
Even come off this, well, for the one, but
Thought we'd overdone
Did
it.
he?
Aye, good.
Can't make this, can you? Exact same throw, basically.
I don't think so.
That good, is it?
No, not there.
Just trying
Yeah?
to learn to throw it and just shut up.
It's the same throw I just had.
Literally the exact same throw.
Yeah, same way, just probably close.
That's a good shot.
What?
This is the last stone in the third end here at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. Calling the shot here is
Yeah, I
Matt
know.
Dunstone, who is throwing red stones and trailing the game 1-0, or sorry, 2-1. My apologies. Trailing the game 2-1 here in the third end.
How simple the start at the end was, right? And look
Yeah,
at it now.
I mean, I can definitely get half with back four.
That was that shot there. That was
Yeah.
like, I was very tempted just to go.
Right there.
I'm Jock Tyre. I'm here with Elaine Doug Jackson.
I like
We'll be
going
here
for it.
with
We
you all
didn't
day
sweep
today
it.
at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic.
go
This is
hard
the
for it.
semi-final Matt Dunstone up against Glenn Muirhead.
I think we played the right shots. We gave ourselves a chance to stay.
And a force.
So that was back 8? Back 4?
What did we do there?
Yeah,
Just
same weight, eh?
overswept a hair.
Yeah, no more.
Were you getting a good wave call?
Always deucey once we get by.
I thought I'd given you too much, like. Too much weight.
So it looks like Eleni's playing a nice little quiet weight bump, trying to thread the needle between those
you
two
gotta go.
blue
Hard
stones
cat. Hard.
and get in there and bump that other one to lie 2 and take 2 in this end and control of the game.
Hard.
Yeah, he just needs to get through that tiny hole across the face of that blue rock, which is
Paper that front guard is what he needs to do, and he has done that. He's gotten through. He's made it. He's bumped it back. Is it enough to get 2? Is it enough to get 2? No. It looks like he's just going to get 1 on there.
I don't know if it's 1 or 2.
It looks like that blue at the back is out counting the red at the back. They definitely got a 1.
Great sweep, boys.
He certainly made it through that port, but it was just a little bit down on the weight. Very exciting shot. Looks at the scoreboard, and he did. He got the 2. Congratulations to Matt Dunstone on that one. What a beautiful shot, and wow, what a great job those sweepers did. Communications was awesome
And now
all the way down there.
The crowd here in Penticton, once they saw the score go up and realized that it was the great shot that we thought we saw. So a lot of appreciation here from the fans at this Penticton Curling Club. They've been amazing here at the Penticton Curling Club this week. They really know how to host an event here. They've got so many special things going on here. One of the things that they did here this week, Jock, same as what they did last year, is every single time the athletes come off the ice, win or lose, they're greeted with a huge round of applause from the spectators as they exit the playing field. And you should see the smiles on those curlers' face when they come off the ice, even if they've lost the game, to know that the people behind the glass were pulling for them and watching every shot. And it's really a very, very nice thing that they do here.
And it shows in the quality of the field here. I mean, we're down to the semifinal right now with 4 amazing teams. But, you know, there was a lot of good quality teams that were here, including the other playoff teams, Brennan Botcher, Reed Carruthers' team. That's the new team with Mike McEwen playing 3rd. Kevin Cooey's team, Charlie Thomas. You know, it's that was all those were playoff teams, not including, you know, there were some amazing BC rinks in there as well with Jimmy Cotter's team. Your husband, Glenn Jackson, had his team here. Your son-in-law, Chris Bear, had his rink here. We should be changing it from the Ashley to the Ashley Dag Jackson.
The Jackson family bonspiel.
So back over in the other semifinal over on sheet D, we're still we're getting down to this is a 3rd stones right now with Jason Gunlison and Ross Patterson tied up at 3, but Patterson having the hammer and Patterson throwing red rocks. We'll get back over there and keep you updated when we get another score change on that board. But they're playing the 4th end, just like we are here over on sheet B in the semifinal action at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. I'm Jock Tyre, sitting here with the privilege of working with Elaine Dag Jackson.
Now this stop on the tour has become a very important competition here in British Columbia. It is the biggest bonspiel by far, biggest cash spiel in British Columbia by a long shot, and one of the biggest cash spiels or spiels that teams are able to qualify for Order of Merit and CTRS points in Canada outside the slam events. There's a huge pot here of $66,000. I think that's up 6 from last year. $18,000 is going to go to today's winner, which is huge in the curling world. It makes a big difference to their ability to be able to travel from event to event. But for the BC teams, it allows them to play against some of these teams that they aspire to play alongside more often. And we've got a great curling tour here in BC that has been organized by Curl BC. They've put together a number of events for men and for women that this season have really made a difference in BC teams being able to climb up the order of merit and the Canadian team ranking system a little bit more.
And I think it's only going to pay dividends in the quality of the field that you're going to see at provincials here in British Columbia. The tour now including many more stops than in the past, simply because a tour has been and spots at provincials are being given to those teams that do well at the tour events in British Columbia. With Vernon in the Okanagan Valley, Kelowna in the Okanagan Valley, and Kamloops all hosting Cashbeals as well, and those clubs are all hosting a men's and a women's, and then down here in Penticton hosting this men's event.
Yeah, along with Golden Ears and Abbotsford, and we've had a great tour in BC this fall. You see a few of the women's teams up higher on the Canadian team ranking than we have seen since back in the days when we had really, really competitive women's curling results here in BC. So a really interesting game unfolding on our feature sheet. Both these teams, both Dunstone and Muirhead, went undefeated in this event, which is quite a distinguished accomplishment. There was some great teams in this event, and they both beat a lot of great teams. They're both undefeated, and now we see a really typical battle in a curling game where the hammer's going back and forth and the advantage is going back and forth.
Get ready, Cammy.
And right now, advantage team Dunstone, they're up 1 point, which favors them in the probabilities at this moment in time. However, team Muirhead has a couple of corner guards in play.
That was Thomas Muirhead, the younger of the two brothers, at second stones, throwing that one.
Even this is okay.
Next up is Catelyn Schneider. Again, we were talking about that. Catelyn playing with Jimmy Cotter out of Vernon last year with Tyrell Griffith and Rick Sawatsky. So he's familiar with the Okanagan Valley.
Whoa.
Thanks for the positive feedback on Twitter. Viewers, we appreciate to know that you are listening out there. A nice message from Manitoba.
And that was a attempted run back double, but he jams that one and leaves it there. A little bit of a break there for Muirhead as he's looking to see if he, which way he wants to go. Does he want to come around his own, go to the corners? Does he want to start play towards the middle right now? That guard is awfully long out there on the center line, so it is actually playing around with the draw paths just a little bit.
Yeah, this is a real advantage for Muirhead. That rock behind the corner guard there was not a lot of separation there, so you would think that that would be a more high percentage shot getting out of that situation. But now Team Muirhead has an opportunity to split the house, kind of an ideal situation to score 2 points here. It is early in the end. There are a lot of rocks to come.
And again, he's got to thread the needle through that because of the amount of curl. He's got to get by that red one, paper through it, and then wrap himself around that corner guard. And he's done it, but is he going to go behind the tee? And he has done that as well. So just a pinch deep. He would have preferred to be top 8 foot there so that there wasn't that, and there isn't the cross the house double.
Half's pretty close. You seeing like normal?
Good throw.
So he's just going to call normal weight on this one. He's not going to, he's calling a little bit of an up weight. So really, again, we haven't seen a lot of up weight. We've seen a lot more control weight shots from two teams that are more than capable of throwing the big weight.
Whoa. Off. No. Yep. Yep.
Oh, dear.
So that's a mistake that you don't see very often from this team. 2 runs at that shot and 2 misconnects.
This is always going to be here.
This is third Kyle Smith for Team Glen Muirhead throwing. Muirhead from Perth.
Can either come in
They're actually
here.
from a very small town. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. I know he said it was about 700 people, the town that they're from, but Perth being the nearest city.
We'll get back to you on that one. So when you're setting up the 2 points. The very best situation would be if those rocks are directly parallel to each other, across from each other, with no possibility of a double. So Team Muirhead recognizes here that there is clearly the opportunity for the double, so they are trying to prevent that, either by drawing in or maneuvering those shots so that there's less likelihood of them losing both of those rocks. However, it is early in the event, and they probably don't expect to score more than 2. They're positioning this rock in order to preserve the
unless
2.
he sticks on the top one and it's a perfect angle, so we can't really do much with it.
And if you can't get those rocks parallel to each other, directly across from each other, then you want as much separation as possible.
Sorry, Elaine. Jason Gunlison attempting to make a very flat double, picks off a guard instead and leaves again Ross Patterson a draw for 3. Patterson lying through 3, has the hammer, and so he'll be trying to take a 6-3 lead here going in the 4th end over in the other semifinal. So it's 3-0.
Pretty unusual for us to see 2, 3 end scores. With at this level of play, Patterson has had the hammer twice, and they've scored 3 both times. So you need some luck. You need a bit of a miss, which they saw there.
So thanks to our scoreboard operator, Glenn Muirhead and his brother Thomas are from Blair Atuli.
Oh,
it's one of those hyphenated
Blair
names.
Atoll. Blair Atoll.
The Blair
the fine
Atuli,
town of Blair Atoll.
And if I could do that with my Scottish accent, it would be wonderful, but I can't.
We should go there, Doc.
We should
go
Elaine.
visit there.
It sounds like a wonderful place.
I bet they have a nice Scotch whiskey factory nearby.
I'm sure they do, and as it sounds, they have more sheep than they do people in Blair Atuli.
And potatoes.
And potatoes. And again, they opted for a little bit of a hit over on the Patterson game. Ross Patterson taking a 6-3 lead after 4 in the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic semi-final. Back over to our sheet on sheet B. We've got Kyle Smith coming down here, and it looks like he's playing kind of a little in-off there, Elaine, just to change the angle so there's no slash double across the house.
This rock is heavy and it's hanging.
Heavy and wide. And if he doesn't make contact, it's likely to go through. And they're sweeping it. Dunstone's trying to get that rock through the rings, and he does indeed. So he accomplished neither of what he was trying to do, neither move the rock to get rid of the double nor lie 3.
Unforced error there. That is the shot that teams cringe over. A little extra weight makes that rock hang. A little extra rotation makes that rock travel a little further. So it didn't curl, and it didn't, as it didn't curl, the weight did not come off it. It was really far from making the shot that was called. Sometimes when you think you're tapping a rock, you tend to throw a little bit extra weight, but it does not require very much of an adjustment. So here's an opportunity for Team Dunstone to get out of this little situation.
And a little bit of they wanted the hit and roll behind cover, but it looked like they've rolled open on that side, which actually may be to the advantage of Muirhead here, because he can roll either direction to lie 2 and be buried. Kyle Smith again throwing his second stone, so we're in the 4th end here with Muirhead having the hammer and trailing the game 3-2. They're managing this rock nicely down.
Hard, Thomas.
Wow, that was just barely hit weight, and he still didn't get the roll in behind cover. My apologies. Over to sheet D, Elaine. I must have missed a rock biting in the back corner. It's a 4-pointer for Ross Patterson and a 7-3 lead in the other semifinal action. That's again Ross Patterson taking 4. I couldn't see the back of the rings here. My apologies. So instead of 3, it was a 4, a hit for 4, and a 7-3 lead over Morris, Manitoba's Jason Gunlison.
Yeah, that's a huge deficit for Team Gunlison to come back from. There's a little bit of worry looking over there behind the sheet. pretty uncommon for a team to be able to come back to that kind of a deficit, being down 4, playing the 5th end.
But the good news is that's why they invented the 5-rock rule. It really is. It's for situations like this where a team needs to come back. They've taken some chances. They need to come back, and it gives them that extra rock in play.
And that's a really interesting point, Jock. We have seen some huge ends here in Penticton this week. Some huge scores, some 9-6s and big scores. But curiously enough, yesterday we saw a score of 1-0 as a final score.
Wow, I haven't seen that score in a very long time.
And it was Team Gunlison against Team Sean Gill from British Columbia. There were 7 blank scores. It didn't seem like that was the way the game was going to unfold. There were a few rocks in play, but as the game progressed, people started to watching that sheet of ice, and it just went on and on. In the 7th end, there was an opportunity to force a point, which didn't occur, and Team Gill was able to force Team Gunlison to draw to the forefoot to win that game at a score of 1-0 in the 5-rock rule.
Unbelievable. I'm going to put that out to Jerry Gertz over at World Curling Tour in the curling zone and ask him if there's been another 1-0 score anywhere in this season. And with the thousands of games that have been played, I seriously doubt there's been a 1-0 score.
Yeah, we did get a lot of comments on social media about that yesterday. A lot of comments that maybe we need a 6-rock rule or a or an 8-rock rule. So lots of joking, but it's one of those games.
So Glenn Muirhead looking maybe for that elusive hit and roll here. He's trailing 3-2, but has the hammer here in the 4th end at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. You've got Kyle Smith holding the broom for him. His brother Thomas Muirhead sweeping at 2nd, and Cammy Smith, Kyle's brother, at lead.
Go then. Yep.
We got a right-away call. Line's good.
Easy. Whoa!
And a little hit and flop to the outside. What a beautiful little shot. Nice control all the way down, and it's going to make things really difficult here for Matt Dunstone's team. He's looking at a straight run back.
With the opposition stone making it even more difficult. So this is the 3rd run back attempt we've seen this end. The numbers need to be mounting up in Team Dunstone's favor here.
This is when you just cross your. It's no big deal, is it?
Yeah, I can't imagine this is going to do a thing. 7/8.
That's quite the routine he's got there with that rock spinning and then grabbing the rock after wiping his hands a couple times.
Reason behind it, I just kept out. I just kept out completely and just got changed.
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep. Whoa. No. No. Jeez.
Indication that he might have got that one out a little bit. Elaine, I could be wrong, just the technical part of me, but it looks like he's throwing that really a lot with his wrist, not as much with the arm extension. It didn't seem real consistent there, and I think he may have popped that just a little bit.
Well, we do often see, almost always, that kind of shot missed on an undercurl. When you look at the number of rocks you have to remove and what has to happen, there sometimes is a tendency to give that rock just a little bit of extra at the end, which sometimes causes a little bit of an outward motion. They did call the sweep on right away, right out of his hand. So, you know, maybe they thought it was good out of hand, but quickly they saw that that was not the case. So Team Muirhead in a position to get control of the scoreboard here.
Definitely.
Glenn Muirhead drawing in for his 3rd point. He's trailing this game 3-2, but has the hammer, and this is the hammer right now.
Feels heavy. Feels all there, boys.
So the skipper is throwing in his opinion that he thinks it's all there, but the sweepers, as they should be, are ignoring him and doing what they should be doing and judging that rock. once again, taking it right to the button, adding to the
Sorry, I was panicking that we're
collection of shots that Team Muirhead has.
So here at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic second annual, Team Glen Muirhead has taken a lead with the 3 points in the fourth end and now leads Matt Dunstone's rink 5-3. Over in the other semifinal action, it's Ross Patterson in control of the game with a 7-3 score, playing the fifth end over top of Morris, Manitoba's Jason Gunlison. I'm Jock Tyre. This is Elaine Dag-Jackson. Very proud to be here today and broadcasting on Shaw, the second annual Ashley Home Store Curling Classic.
Now these games have been broadcast by volunteers all week. They've been on YouTube all week. There's been one game featured. Every single draw, we've been getting some really great feedback on social media, and we are under the impression that a lot of people have been able to watch this wonderful event here, broadcasting from Penticton in the beautiful Okanagan. All indications point to this event being a great success once more. The feedback from the teams is amazing. They do a lot of special things here in Penticton. You know, it's like a little Briar here. They've got all these wonderful volunteers
like
doing
crazy.
these great things. They have a full players lounge downstairs for the athletes to come and hang out before and after the game. They've got nice furniture in there from Ashley Home Furniture. They've got some nice meals for the curlers from some of the local sponsors, sandwiches and beverages and treats and so on. And it makes the athletes really feel special that they are the main attraction here. People are lining up at the door to come and watch them, and they're getting the VIP treatment here by the Penticton volunteers who are putting on this amazing bonspiel.
A little bit of room.
Quite a number of new teams actually getting an opportunity to work out some details this year. Kevin Cooey with his new team, with BJ Newfield, Colton Flash, and Benny Hebert. You know, nice to see them get an opportunity to get going in this, and they qualified into the playoffs. But I was just looking through, Charlie Thomas has a new team this year.
Well, that's what I'm
and
thinking.
again, giving them an opportunity, and again, some changes over with Jimmy Cotter's team. And then all the BC rinks, lots of changes there, and all of them an opportunity to get some good competition in here. In Penticton, the ice conditions have been absolutely marvelous. The ice makers have done a really good job, and we're seeing some great curl, a lot of speed, and the ice seems to be holding up quite nicely throughout the game, which with the quality of the sweeping that you get here, you know, ice has a tendency to fudge up, but I'm not hearing that from the competitors.
So we need to throw out a compliment to head ice maker Chris Jones, who has been leading his team of ice makers here this week. They have been grooming the ice beautifully every draw. I believe they conditioned the stones a little bit about a week before the event began, which led to more consistent curl this week. Sometimes at events, they will condition the rocks a little bit close to the event, which causes very aggressive curl early in the event and drastic straightening as the event progresses. But here the conditions have been very consistent. Athletes, curling athletes, want to see conditions that are predictable, that make sense, that are easy to understand, yet still challenging. So here the challenge has been draw weight. It's been nice and fast. Weight control has been something that the teams have been working towards real precision on. We mentioned a couple of times earlier, if you throw a little bit of extra weight, the rock will run a little straighter and not have a chance to finish. So that's all part of the challenge of being a high-performance curling athlete and team, is understanding what you have to do to make the shots on championship-type ice conditions. And here at the Penticton Curling Club, they have emulated championship conditions. You know, a lot of times these bigger events are played in arenas, but they've given the curlers some really great ice conditions here to test their skills.
Just a nose tap then.
So here we are in the fifth end of the semifinal at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. Muirhead is up 5-3 on Matt Dunstone's rink, and Matt has the hammer. He's working really hard in this 8-end game. Now that we're into the second half, he's working really hard to try and score his deuce. to get his 2 points and tie this game up at least.
Just
Where
get it
you've
onto
got,
the tee line.
it's actually a little bit fun to watch because it looks like Glenn Muirhead's going to go with a little more offense than defense here and try and put some pressure on Matt Dunstone's rink. He's drawing in over here to the side to lie 3.
So it's risk versus reward here. He has elected to leave that rock on the center line, not attempting a tick or a split. Sitting 3, but Matt Dunstone does have 2 rocks in front of the house. There's lots of game left in this end. See if he's able to bring one or more of those red guards into play here. And another positive thing here at this Penticton event is seeing a lot of the curlers giving back to the community and giving back to the sport in general. And Team Reed Carruthers came in early this week. They hosted 3 clinics here at the Penticton Curling Club, 2 for adult curlers and 1 for junior curlers. The local club members were so thankful to be able to get up close and personal with the team members of Reed Carruthers, who are always game to do those kind of things in the community. And last week, Jim Cotter came down and ran a junior clinic for the club. Close to 40 junior curlers attended that clinic with Jim Cotter.
Jim has been a long-term coach and one of those players that's always put something back into the game.
Yep.
His daughter and he play in the mixed doubles championships and gone to Canadians, and is always working, including what a terrific shot there, a nice little run back double to get rid of a little bit of trouble there for Glenn Muirhead's rink, and Dunstone now has got to be looking at how are they going to score their deuce here. But Jimmy Cotter just outstanding when it comes to coaching, and he's working with some Kelowna and Vernon girls, including his daughter, and helping out the junior program in Vernon.
Yeah, another thing about Jim Cotter is he's always watching out for those who come after him, and there are a number of what we call next generation curling teams in Canada who we have an eye on. We know they're going to be the next top curlers in Canada, and Jim has always got the time to sit down with one of those young teams after a game, and they may be competing against each other in the same event, but he'll sit down with those teams and talk about the things they do well and give them some advice about what they might think about doing to get to the next level of play. So somebody who's always giving back. Thanks, Jim.
Over in the other semifinal action, Jason Gunlinson manages to score his deuce, but still trails 7-5 after 5 ends. So Ross Patterson from Glasgow, Scotland has got the hammer and a 2-point lead going into the 6th.
And there was a pretty nice draw there on our sheet with the red stone. It did go a tiny bit deep, but it is in a good position as it's pretty parallel to those blue rocks. Not an easy double there. The run back on the blue rock not possible because those guards are a little bit overlapped. So pretty good shot.
This is 3rd Kyle Smith throwing right now here in the 5th end, with Team Muirhead up 5-3 and the hammer. There looks like they're just playing a little come around, bump back, or
Line's
freeze.
Perfect. Line's good, guys. Just get the weight right. Come on then. Get it up here.
And it comes up just a bit short. It was a wee bit shy on that one. Sweepers took it out of his hand and took it the whole way down, but it just comes up about 4 feet short of the intended spot, and Muirhead is not happy with that or with his sweepers on that one.
And line-wise, if it's going to be short, it might have been better to leave it a little bit more open and give them a little bit better of an opportunity to get at that rock if they need to promote it onto the red rock later in the end.
So lots of room here for Matt Dunstone to make a little come around here. There's a couple guards in play, and he's already lying 1 on the button, but he is trailing by 2 with the hammer here in the 5th end.
Or replay something like that.
Now, sometimes when the skip is standing down there looking at the three players look up, and they sometimes think that they're questioning the call and wondering if they should be playing something different, but a lot of the time they're just talking about the weight and the line and getting full feel and understanding and communicating how to make that shot as a team.
Aye, if they're anywhere,
Line's good.
T.
Room.
Aye.
Make sure we're back here. Deuces.
I don't know if I'll see a lot of it. Like.
Get it back 4. Yep. Hard. Doesn't look like it. You gotta go. Don't ever leave this. Don't ever leave this. Hard. Just keep going. Don't ever leave this. Go.
Some really great sweeping on that shot. They took that rock a long way.
Elaine, why would they been calling back 4 on that one? We've been talking all game long about not putting it behind the tee line. What are you thinking? What do you think they're thinking there when they call back 4 on that one?
Well, I think they're trying to get a red rock in the way of the other red rock. So if
What do
there
you
is
think?
a run through there with that blue rock, that there's something else in the way there.
What are you seeing
They
of
also
this?
needed to get it completely buried on a very tight guard, so it has to be a certain
enough.
depth in order to do that. If they left it
Not
above
enough.
the tee line, the double would be open on the intern side.
Kyle Smith coming down. Obviously, he wants to have a little look at the situation. They're looking at a couple run backs, one on the left, one on the right, but Kyle indicating that they can't see enough of the one guard on the left, or sorry, on the right, that he can make the run back double in there. And as Elaine said earlier, there looks like there's a little bit of an overlap on those front 2 guards.
6.
A little tough to see on the angle here, but it does look like there's an
potential
overlap,
spin
so you
somewhere
cannot run
behind
that blue straight back in.
It depends how thin, you know.
The red, it only gets one of them, and we're potentially doing that as well.
Yeah.
The blue, I can only get one as well.
Let's get rid of the guards. These are nice and close. So I can make the double with this run, and I could probably also make the double with this. So let's get rid of the 2 short ones.
Well, there you have it.
So with 3 rocks left, they want to give themselves a chance to get rid of more than one rock on future shots.
If it's going to touch the reds, then that red's going nowhere.
Kyle still seems to be looking at the straight run back,
Get rid of them, and we'll see.
where Skip Glenn Muirhead wants to blow the whole front open.
Just peel it.
I like this call. Those red rocks are really close together. It's a very easy double or run double if you have access to it. So by getting rid of these 2 tight guards, they're going to give themselves a lot more options of how to get rid of those red rocks.
Whoa!
And there you have it. So the guards are gone. Matt Dunstone now looking at his situation, trailing this game 5-3, but with the hammer in the 5th end.
Good.
Sit half on it. This is cued into there.
That's a shot. Played the right shot there.
Even right on the nose of it, like
No doubt.
you can almost, like there, like for thinking ice for what I made. Yeah, like I'm thinking this is the ice. You like that?
I wish I'd known it was
Yep.
only going there, and then I would have kept Thomas on it inside and tried to keep it held out.
So the call is to tap the red rock to the side just a little bit and roll in front of the other red rock. Now you would wonder why they would want to cluster those 2 red rocks on the button, but I think that would be because the run back on the short blue guard there in the 12-foot would only get one of the rocks if they were frozen right on top of each other, and then they'd still have the other red rock out on the left-hand side.
Just a wee flat bit.
So this is 3rd, Braden Muscovy,
What is it he's playing here?
playing the little bump and roll.
Off. Yep. Yes. Have to go. Whoa.
He's calling it for line, not for weight here. Looks like he's got lots of weight.
Whoa. Whoa.
Lots of weight. He might,
Get it, go on the 6. On the 6.
Hard.
and he's taking
Hard.
that back.
Perfect. Great shot.
So indeed he is lying 1-2, but in a much better situation than he was a moment ago.
That's all we've got.
So the run back is only going to make one of those go away, and it does not look like there's a double any longer on the side stones.
Well, the other thing about that run back is there's a pretty good chance that that top
only
red
throwing
one
barrier.
is going to jam on the side blue rock,
Should be good at barrier at that, eh?
which is what they had in mind when they put it there.
It's just a barrier nose hit, that's all it is.
And
I
just
think
a
we maybe need a
barrier nose is the weight call, curling term that we don't use too often in Canada, but barrier means bumper or board, I believe, in our lingo.
So just a nice control weight hit. Again, as I said before, we're not seeing, both these teams are very capable of the big weight hits. We're just not seeing that. They're much more comfortable with the control weight right now. Something that the sweepers can help with. Muirhead throwing the out turn here. Sweepers
Get
are
ready,
off it
Cami.
right away.
Cami, hard,
And they're obviously looking for some curl. They've called Cami on,
real hard.
trying to get that rock to come up a bit more. And he's got a nice, exactly what he wanted. Straight run back. It's now frozen on top of that one in the 4-foot. The scoring
Good
area
sweep, Cami.
is a little bit smaller than I think Matt Dunstone would like, but he's going to play a little in-off on that blue stone on the side, see if he can roll in behind the cover again.
Even if we roll into our own, he's still got to nut that for it to be any good, right?
So Elaine, I'm thinking that he wants to roll exactly behind that red stone so that, again, the same situation that they can't make the double. If he rolls part way through, then they've got that run back double again.
Agreed. I think that is the call. Again, they'd be happy to score 2 here, and they are looking closer and closer at being able to do that as the rocks go by here in this end. There's 2 red rocks to come and 1 blue rock to come.
Perfect roll.
So perfect roll. Team Muirhead may be able to play the run back again to get one of them, but there will be 1 red rock remaining.
Jesus, he does.
Yep, yep. Whoa, whoa, yep. Gotta go. Hard.
You're on this.
Looks like it may have over curled a little bit. We're about to see. They're holding it. Can they hold it enough, though? Can they hold it enough? And it's a beautiful shot. Absolutely gorgeous shot, but is the double there?
Queued up.
The run back double.
Good sweep, guys.
Nose, they two go. Your top.
If he can play the exact same shot with a little more weight that Glenn Muirhead played on his last one, will he be lying 3 or 4 on the way? Because it looks like it might almost be lined up there to make a triple.
Yeah, he has to absolutely.
I think the back one's going, is it?
This one.
No, the 6.
That's going.
Regardless of where we hit it.
And again, here's where we have talk about that ability to throw the
Tough draw, doesn't it?
high hard one.
If we go slightly this side, it's definitely going. Slightly that side, probably not going. What weight are we throwing then? Peel.
Wherever you like, normal, aye. Probably peels just as well.
It's a hell of an accurate to keep them all in line at peel right enough. But
Normal's not much less, saying that though.
I think we need to make sure we've got the weights so the 6 kicks.
Well, if you get rid of these 2, I mean, it's just a question of how good we keep these blues.
Over in the other semifinal,
think these
over on
two
sheet
go,
D, Jason Gunlinson
and
is
it's
trailing
peel,
7 to
nose hit,
5
peel.
without the hammer, playing the 6th end. Right now, Patterson's lying shot rock behind a couple rocks over
almost
there.
just fraction
Patterson's
high,
very much
isn't
in
it?
control of the situation. And a little bit of discussion as they're into skip stones. We'll update you as the scoreboard changes over there in the other semifinal action here at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. I'm Jock Tyre. Privileged to be here with Elaine Jackson doing the commentary for you today. And it looks like that's the call, is the straight run back.
Big shot coming here. We'll see how many rocks they can make go away here.
So it looks like Muirhead with a 5-3 lead and not having the hammer here is just trying to make some red stones go away so he gives up maximum maximum of 2 to keep control of this game, and hopefully maybe only giving up a 1. And it's one of those big weights he's so good at.
Yep!
It's very close, and he's made contact, and he's got the roll. He's not got the double, but he has rolled it far enough that he is lying 1 and 2.
Nose to a sliver high. Yeah.
But if they can make this triple, they're going to be coming off the coming with 2 of their own back and tying this game up. So Matt Dunstone, here we go. Finally, we're getting to see some of the heat that we're expecting from these 2 teams.
I thought I was a wee bit unsure of that one getting out, to be honest with you.
We're here in the background, Glenn Muirhead expressing his concern that maybe he wouldn't get the back one out, and he didn't.
And the other thing is,
so very precision high weight shot, hoping for a run back double to score the 2 back red ones. Those little ones on the outside, maybe counting for him right now.
I'm thinking he misses this with steal too. You know? It's not a great slide.
Whoa! Yes! Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! Yes!
And he has made it. He's got the triple to take 2 and tie this game up. What a great shot by Matt Dunstone. It's now 5-all after 5 ends complete.
And some great appreciation from the sold-out crowd here in Penticton. They love to see those great shots called, and they love to see those great shots made. Yeah, for the second year in a row, this event is sold out. It's standing room only, and there's been many people here watching every draw.
Well, if the red didn't go out and we ended up keeping the blues bang in line, then the double wasn't there. No. It's the fact that the red didn't go and then it left the 2 blues for an easy.
Little bit of a debrief going on there between ends. There are a few moments between ends allowed. These games are not on time clocks. Gives the teams an opportunity to talk over what they saw in the last end, any adjustments they want to make. Next end, they'll talk about their goal for the next end, where they want to see the first rocks go.
They'll throw the two.
So after 5 actions or 5 ends of action here, all we've done is change who has the hammer. It's a tied game with 3 ends left to play, but now Muirhead has the advantage with having the hammer going into end 6. This is an 8-end game, 5 rock rule.
It has been a back and forth game with quite a number of multiple scores scored here in our game. Only 1 force in the first end of the 1 point, which was by accident. It was an attempt blank, which stuck. And other than that, we've had a lot of points hung on the scoreboard.
Over on sheet D, Ross Patterson from Glasgow, Scotland is leading 7-5 over top of Jason Gunlinson from Morse, Manitoba. Right now we're down to the hammer, the last rock for Ross Patterson, and he is looking at a double on Gunlinson's 2 stones, and if he makes this double, he is going to walk away with a 3 and a 5-point lead after 6 ends, but he has yet to make that shot. It's a tough looking shot, but it's still there.
So as you're watching this broadcast, if you live in the South Okanagan, anywhere near Penticton, and you're interested in trying out this amazing sport, just go online and find the Penticton Curling Club, give them a call or send them a message. They have Learn to Curl clinics. They will line you up with a place to start, and they've got some leagues you can go directly into should you decide that it's your new favorite thing, as many people do. They've got a lot going on with their mixed doubles, and it is a really exciting new discipline in curling. And they have a new mixed doubles event or league on Sunday afternoon, so come out and give that a try.
So Ross Patterson over here in sheet D in the other semifinal action. He's trying the double. It doesn't come up quite enough. He jams the rock, the first rock he was running back, and gives up a steal of 1 to Jacelyn Gunlinson. Jason crawling back into this game very slowly. He was trailing 7-5, picked up a deuce. Now he's stolen one to make it a 7-6 game after 6 complete in the other semifinal action here at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic.
Yeah, and just another comment about that game on the other sheet there. That is a huge opportunity lost for Team Patterson to put that game away. That was a huge swing in points from basically having no chance to lose the game to being in a very close situation, giving up a steal, and they're only one up. So just a huge point swing with one shot over there.
You can also see the huge mood swing. Gunnison a little more confidence in his team. A lot of frustration coming out of Patterson's team with you know, expressing some displeasure at what just happened there, even though they're one up with the hammer.
Exactly. And back over in our feature game, tied up playing 6. This is a real critical end. The team that scores in 6 is probably got almost a 60% chance of winning this game. To score in the 6th end is big. To score 2 would be huge. Again, they're trying to play the scoreboard, manipulate the scoreboard to have an advantage in these last few ends. Right now, Team Muirhead has 2 hammers to Team Dunstone's 1 hammer with 6, 7, 8 left to play. So Muirhead has 2 opportunities to score where Dunstone has 1, should the hammer just go back and forth.
If you did that just now, I think this could probably hang around here.
So they're looking at a situation where they've got a centerline guard that they're not all that happy about, and a corner guard which they put there and are quite pleased.
Well,
so,
over the face!
I think they're looking at maybe blowing a hole open in the middle.
Yeah, prefer that. Hit and roll away.
Open up those
what
guards.
Turn are you wanting?
I think they're talking about trying to find a way to save that blue rock. I don't know if that's as important as saving the corner guards.
That's Thomas Muirhead throwing that stone with Cammy Smith, Kyle Smith sweeping. Oh dear, not what they wanted there. They've left that center guard in play, although they are lying shot, they still left that center guard there, and I think they wanted to open it up a little bit.
What's that? It's probably better. Easy. Because we're formed to kill this one or shooter's going somewhere. Then they're just hitting and rolling. We gotta plant it. You like easy? We saw mine here. You're gonna get
with 3 ends left to play, Matt Dunstone does not have the hammer here in the 6th end, and the game is all tied up at 5 at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic semifinal action.
And weight selection is key here. They've elected to play an easier weight run back. They haven't had the best success with their big weight run backs, and the chances of keeping your shooter around and bringing the sweepers into play increases significantly with a little bit less weight.
Doesn't get quite what he was looking for. He rolls to the corner guard and then gets some separation there, and makes life just a little bit easier for Glenn Muirhead. Glenn's got his 2 corner guards. He's got an opportunity to be hitting and rolling and lying 2.
Yeah. Round the corner then.
Tied up at 5 here. We're in the 6th end. We're in at 2nd stone still. Thomas Muirhead throwing here. Again, we see the quiet wait.
Well, just go then.
And it looks like he's just playing a nice little draw here.
Back here, guys. Eh? Just get the distance.
Trying to tuck it around. Tuck it around that corner.
It's okay there.
And get it separated enough so there's no double. Did you? Okay. First third stones here with Braden Muscovy throwing
Clean.
for Matt Dunstone's
Clean.
team.
Yep. Clean. Whoa.
Looks
Again,
like
Clean. Whoa.
the
Clean.
score is tied.
Whoa. Off. Never.
Dunstone without the hammer here.
a little bit of a hack weight hit and trying to roll behind cover, and it rolls almost out of the rings, and sweeping it, it is gone.
So the good thing about that shot is they did remove that blue
Same
rock
shot.
from play. However, they did roll out, making it a little bit easier for Team Muirhead to just select exactly where they want to put this second shot.
Kyle Smith's first stone, third for Glenn Muirhead. Looks like a
Light
little bit
looks
more
better.
weight. And it looks like they're playing a little kiss off that top of their own blue on the lane,
Looks
trying to
big,
roll
guys.
behind cover, which is what
Looks,
it,
looks bigger than that. Through the rings.
and no, they're not going to get it. It's over curled, and it's going to go right through the rings.
Unforced error there. Opportunity to sit two.
Kyle Smith expressing his displeasure on that one. He's had a couple shots like that today where he just hasn't been able to get control of that weight,
Yeah.
and his rocks have slid through the rings. I think that's the second one that was a key situation to lie to.
Yeah, you don't want to miss those shots. Sixth end, it's critical end for whoever scores here. There's been an opportunity for Team Muirhead to sit two all day long here, and now that opportunity is about to disappear.
Clean. Oh,
And that's hanging out there as well.
no. Never.
A little bit extra weight, and he's hoping to get a little hit and roll,
Gotta go.
but he doesn't want that big a roll. And the blue sticks around, and the red one rolls out. So again, a little bit of a missed opportunity there for Matt Dunstone's rink and Braden Muscovy as he overthrows it or sets it out a little bit.
So as a coach, when I see a couple of misses like that from this level of players,
Kind of like nose.
I have to question about,
Pat?
well, what exactly is going on out there? Are
What's
there
that?
changing ice conditions? Are there some spots in the ice that are a little faster
Hey,
than
apart
others?
from if he makes
you know, you
this,
just
we
don't
can't
see
really
those kind of
do anything
mistakes.
about it.
And if you see more than
Nose
one
hit.
mistake, you start to
Pat.
question about what is there something different? Is something
Yeah.
going on out there that we can learn faster than the opposition does?
So Kyle Smith under a little bit of pressure here to make this little
What's the weight?
hit and roll, trying to remove that stone and roll
Whoa.
behind cover
Yep.
without
Whoa.
jamming it onto his own rock at the back there.
Yep. Whoa.
So you see, that is second shot. He didn't need to remove it, except for the fact that it was in a
Attaboy.
very advantageous position for Team Dunstone. It was top of the house, but now it's gone.
That seemed kind of going that way.
And Dunstone's got an
Nice
opportunity
shot.
here to play a come around and see if he can eliminate those two rocks simply by outdrawing them.
To be honest.
The rocks are the same.
No.
Matt Dunstone throwing his first stone, tied up here at 5 apiece. But Glenn Muirhead has the hammer from Perth, Scotland
Is it gonna come
against this
outside
Regina
here?
rink.
Well, we just changed them.
That's Braden Muscovy holding the broom, and DJ Kidd being Caitlin Schneider, sorry, sweeping.
Optimistic.
No, it's just no thought.
This back red's here too. If he knows this.
Indication is that it does not need sweeping. They're waiting for that rock to catch the curl.
Come and knows it. Knows it.
And they've called the hit on this back one, and it's staying out there. It's really not moving for them. And almost no roll at all.
Any little bit counts, makes it
What's the
just a
best
little
call for
bit
us
more
then?
difficult to
Roll in.
negotiate past that
I
red
think so.
guard.
'Cause then
Roll in or roll out.
But no matter what, that
Real
rock
line.
is going to be behind the tee
He's
line,
faced for
which
something tough, is he not?
then becomes backing for Dunstone. So it's got to be,
if we roll out, then he's,
you know, the roll which
then he
way
makes the
is
roll
really
in.
important.
Depends where we
You can't roll out because that gives them the free draw or the hit on the other one, and you
He might, but it's a
if you don't
fully
roll
hard
far
line
enough
for
in, you've given him backing.
Yeah. Probably is going to play the double, and if he does, then we're blank. If he doesn't, we make 2.
Two's pretty good in 6, but
It's pretty risky sweeping for a roll there. We've only 2 feet to work with, and even at that, we've still leaving the hit and roll.
yeah, okay.
So we roll in.
Roll right under the board.
Yeah. What are we thinking? Halfway?
I'm happy with that.
Because we can roll away over here.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, actually, that's no bad rolling right over there.
So a really great conversation going on there. The first is, what is the tactical call? What do we want to have happen, and what do we want to see the opposition play? And the second part of the conversation is, how do we make that shot? The weight selection, the amount of ice, where we want it exactly to roll, and how we're going to get it there with sweeping and communication.
So here it's Skip Stones playing the 6th end, tied up at 5. This is the first of Glenn Muirhead's 2 stones, where Matt Dunstone only has 1 left. So Muirhead has the hammer and has an opportunity here.
Hack weight.
Calls halfway hit on that turn there. Looks like weight's a little bit
hard.
hot.
Hit it.
And they're trying to get some curl out of it by sweeping on the inside. Weight's a little hot, and he has left it right where he didn't want to, giving Matt Dunstone an opportunity to get out of this end simply by a little hit and roll.
I think the broom was good. I was on that high side, yeah.
And once again, the team that gets to throw the same shot twice is at an advantage. Matt Dunstone just threw this shot and didn't quite execute it quite perfectly. Now he has an opportunity to throw the exact same shot again. They will dial in the communication and the weight control and the management of this shot just a little bit better.
Is the front of that blue in the rings? Like if I know the blue in my hand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The roll is so important here. He's got to be trying so hard for that roll, because if he leaves it exactly where it is now, then it's an easy hit and stick for 2 and advantage Glenn Muirhead here in the 6th end.
Off. Right off.
Sounds like he's got to come up a little
Right
bit.
off it. Anything. Hard. Go.
And almost no roll at all. Just a little bit of a roll, but that rock is wide open for Glenn Muirhead to get his 2 points here in the 6th end.
Probably tighten it a wee here, eh? Leave it the same then.
And this is the hammer here in the 6th end. Over on sheet B, over on sheet D in the other semifinal action. It's Ross Patterson leading Jason Gunlison 7-6, and Patterson having the hammer and lying 2 currently. They're down to Skip Rocks over there. We'll update you as soon as we get a score change over on that board.
And again, here we have an athlete playing the same shot twice. He just threw this same shot down the same line.
Thomas, yep. Whoa. Whoa. Clean.
And it looks like when you hear that clean call, that he's very pleased with what he's going to get. And indeed, he hits that redstone through and takes 2 points here in the 6th end.
Yeah, that word clean is the golden word in the sport of curling.
So that means just make sure there's nothing going to obstruct the path in any way, and that makes it a 7-5 lead for Glenn Muirhead's Perth rink over Matt Dunstone's rink from Regina here after 6 ends complete. So Dunstone gets the hammer back, but he's trailing by 2.
2 ends to go.
on Kyle's rocks.
And I don't know whether it's official or not, Elaine, but both teams always seem to take about a 30-second break, have a quick meeting, and that seems almost every event you see that now. I don't think there's anything in the rulebook that says you have to do that, but both teams just expect to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's just a real opportunity for the team to be able to connect, both visually, support-wise, and to exchange information, valuable information of what they want to see happen in the next end. See Team Dunstone just looking just a little bit deflated here. I know they're not. I know they still believe that they can win this game, but scoreboard odds and percentages and probabilities are not in their favor. It's not that it doesn't happen, it's just that it's not probable that it will happen, that they will be able to pull this game off. They need 3 points to win this game, and they've got 2 ends plus possibly an extra to make that happen. So you'll be seeing them do everything that they can in order to make that happen. And at this point, we really want to do a shout out to a lot of the people that made this event here in Penticton possible. It's not very often that we have a chance to host this kind of a huge curling event in a town like Penticton here in British Columbia, beautiful Okanagan Valley. And there's some amazing sponsors that have been able to come on board and support this community event. They're all involved. They're down here supporting the event, not only with their sponsorship, but in person, getting to know the teams. The feature sponsor, event sponsor is Ashley Home Store. I had an opportunity to meet the store owners the other night at the welcome reception at the CB Pub, which is another great place, and they were so interested in the event and so supportive.
So Dennis and Marion Case, owners of Ashley Home Stores, were longtime members up at the Kelowna Curling Club. They also have a store in Salmon Arm and in Lumbee, I believe, and in Kelowna as well. They moved down here to dedicate their time to the new store down here. They've had this store for a couple of years, and they are avid curlers themselves, both Dennis and Marion. And so it's nice to have people in the community who are supporting our game.
And they've got 2 lovely chairs here right behind the feature sheet, which they've brought from Ashley Home Store. I've been wanting to sit in that seat all week, but I had to sit on the metal bench and leave it to the premier sponsors who deserve their own seats here right behind the feature sheet. So thank you so much, Ashley Home Store, for your support of this event. We're looking forward to coming back here next year. I believe there's already a lineup of teams ready to come back to this spiel because it's so great.
Back to the game, Team Dunstone calling for a corner guard, and it slides into the rings, which is a bit of a mistake here. So an opportunity, because it's not in the free guard zone, for Cammy Smith to throw a hit on it and remove that stone and roll in and lie 2. And he's bumped his own and is again lying 2 here. So a little bit of an advantage there and a little bit of a mistake by Team Dunstone when Dustin Kidby dropped that one into the rings instead of in the free guard zone, which could not be hit.
And again, as a coach, I look for why does an error like that happen with these top-level teams who make these shots every day again and again and again? Is it ice conditions? Is it becoming a little bit faster down a particular line? Those are the things that they need to stay on top of and support each other and coach each other and communicate that information to each other. And to slip into the rings is a huge error in the 7th end when you're down 2.
This is a hit,
some
guys.
Some oohs and ahs over there in the other semifinal action as Ross Peterson playing his very first skip stone up 7-6, and with the hammer attempting a double, but instead just grazes that second stone, takes out the one, but slides the other one over, and it's still lying second shot, making it possible for Jason Gunlison to come down and maybe bump back and lay frozen and lying 2, and an almost impossible double for
whoa, boys.
Ross Patterson.
Just clean it. We'll not get too excited.
And a little hit and stick over here back on our feature game. Muirhead lying 3 here, leading this game, playing the 7th end.
On, Thomas.
7-5 with Matt Dunstone having the hammer and playing red stones.
Good throw.
Yeah, Team Dunstone has not been able to get anything going here. They've had a couple of well, that first attempted guard going into the house puts them at a bit of a disadvantage. Now with the opposition sitting 3, I think you will see them try to get out of this end with a blank. This will be the shot that they decide. They either have to make an aggressive move here to try to set up the 2 points, or they're going to be starting to get rid of rocks and see if they are going to take the hammer going home.
A little surprised they're not taking advantage of that 5-rock rule, and they're just going to really put all their eggs in one basket and try to run this one out and get 3 in the last end. So they're attempting a double and jam it, and now those rocks are about as far apart as possible on either side of the 12-foot, and Glen Muirhead's got an opportunity to draw in here and lie 3 again.
It is early in this end, so Team Dunstone does have a number of opportunities left to make a double. In this case, probably they'll have to make 2 doubles this end to get out of this and then execute the blank. You know, should Team Muirhead happen to miss a shot or place a shot in an advantageous position for Team Dunstone, you will see Team Dunstone switch gears again a little bit, but at this point things are not looking positive for a multiple score, so they're going with the probabilities of what's best for them.
Little chatter between the skip and the third. Kyle Smith skipping his own rink last season, where Glen Muirhead was playing with Tom Brewster at third. So it's good to see 2 players with a lot of knowledge on the strategy talking it out, and they've decided that they're going to try and make all 3 of those rocks line up, so there's no doubles, and maybe force Matt Dunstone early in the set, see if they can start the force on and make him take his 1 and come home with the hammer. And again, they're lying 3 now, but they're up 2, and all those rocks behind the tee line.
Over on the other semi-final, we did see Team Patterson take the 1 point. Team Gunlison was sitting 2, so Patterson was forced to take the 1 point. They are happy to be 2 up coming home, so Gunlison has the hammer coming home. They need 2 to tie.
That's an awesome comeback though for Gunlison. Gunlison trailing after 4 ends 7-3, and he's managed to claw his way back in and get the hammer by only giving up a single point. So he's down 2, but he does have the hammer and going into this final end.
Yes, he has worked himself into probably the best situation that he could have, being down so far earlier in the game. To score 2 in the 8th hand with 5-rock rule is not unusual. It happens pretty frequently, so he'll be pulling out all the stops in order to make that happen.
T-line makes it really thin, like.
We just back over on the feature sheet.
Matt
Dunstone's second, Catlin Schneider missing the double, and or the called double, and hitting and rolling out. So again, Muirhead just drawing into lie 3, and again putting some pressure on Matt Dunstone to try and either manufacture a blank out of this end or force him to take his 1. So 2 very different paths in this game, trying to get to a 2-up lead.
That's clean. Real nice, boys.
There we go, nice and high on that one, making the double very difficult. So
15-7.
Matt has identified that he's probably not likely now going into third stones to get a double somewhere out of this. He's going to try and manufacture his deuce without any guards.
Well, the other thing that he can make happen is force the opposition to take one of their own rocks by freezing to 1, thereby only having to execute 1 double. So if they make a good freeze, Team Muirhead will rip that whole thing, causing both of those rocks to go away, leaving Team Dunstone with just the 2 blue rocks to figure out what to do with.
Talk to me. Real. Line's good. Close. Yep. Yes, you gotta go line. Where? Whoa, 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 can't bounce. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He doesn't want to bump back this rock at all.
Good.
That's a great shot.
He's put a little separation there, so it looks like that could be hit on the nose and make them all go away.
With those other rocks behind the tee line, there is always the slim chance
A
that
foot!
by attempting
A
to
foot!
remove that red rock, that it could move over and jam
Come and
on
have a
one
look
of
at
those
it
other
quickly,
rocks
Kyle.
at the back of the house.
Just quickly look at
They're
it.
going to come and have a look at it to make sure they really understand what has to happen here. It really helps when the thrower has the picture in their mind of what kind of space there is
Eyesight.
between those two rocks, what the angles are, where they can and cannot hit it. It looks like a simple shot, but it's a
Just
very
half stone.
important shot.
So Kyle was wanting to make sure whether the pick wasn't a better call, which would be removing it without taking out that other blue stone, or whether just to hit it on the nose and take the blue and the red one out and keep the shooter around. So just want to be clear on that shot. There was two options. And again, here we go with that high weight shot probably here.
Yep. Gonna go.
Oh, he's taken 3 stones.
There you go.
There's what you're exactly what Elaine was talking about, taking out the shooter and the backing and the one at the back, and here comes the blank.
Now,
Okay.
Team Muirhead is not hugely concerned about that. Certainly, they would have preferred to keep things a little bit more complicated for Matt Dunstone to execute the blank, but they cannot take any chances, or they choose to not take any chances being 2 up.
Good. Nice.
Braden Muscovy making the hit and rolls in towards the middle a bit. I wonder, you know, you've got to be looking ahead and thinking that Matt Dunstone is going to be looking for a blank attempt, and in the first end he was unsuccessful with that exact blank attempt, and was the only, he was forced to take his the only single point scored in this game so far. And so it's got to be playing on his head already, thinking, okay, we're heading towards me doing that. What am I going to do differently?
For sure, Jock, but at this point in the 7th end, my money's on Dunstone to execute that blank.
Got the force. Nice.
So with Glenn Muirhead leading this game 7-5, he's playing an open hit. We're in the 7th action of play, and Matt Dunstone from Regina has the hammer. And not a whole lot of action going on right now that all those rocks have been removed from play.
It's gonna run.
Here comes the blank.
Good suit.
I want to just do a little call out to Mary Lou Richter, who has been providing me with cheat notes all day long. And if you want to watch Mary Lou curl,
This is the
you
first
can come
skip
on
stones.
down
This
and
isn't for
watch
the
her
blank.
in
I just want to
Monday
make sure.
night.
Before we watch this rock, this is the first skip stones for Matt Dunstone, not the blank.
Thank you, Jock.
And hi, Mary Lou. Some pretty accomplished curlers standing behind us, feeding us notes here.
I know what you're saying.
Yep. Yep.
If we can roll and give him his out. Give him.
So he's rolled back towards the
It's a
middle
dead
lane.
nose
Was he
then.
wanting to stick around, or was he wanting to roll?
Yeah, he
Maybe.
wants to roll to a new position, move that rock around a little bit. But I think even more so, Team Muirhead wants to do so. He wants to move this rock to a position
Same,
where
just
perhaps
how
there
it's
have been fewer hits played, or maybe he's certainly kept track of where Matt Dunstone has thrown his rocks this game. And you know, he may have a spot on the ice in mind that he would like to leave this rock to just make even any chance that they might miss the blank by hitting and sticking.
So he's just playing a nice control
Easy,
weight
Thomas.
hit,
Cameo.
chooses the out turn. He had either side to go from.
Cammy.
Choosing the out turn, and he wants that to curl up a little bit, but I got to think he's quite pleased with this end.
Yeah, so he chose to leave that rock right in the middle. It is the place in the house where the rock has the furthest to roll on a blank, has to roll through the whole half of the house.
Well,
And again, not to be the harbinger, but back in the first end, Matt Dunstone had an opportunity just like this one on a very similar spot to blank, and unfortunately managed to hit and stick, and took only the single point instead of getting the keeping the hammer and going forward. And this is what he wants to do this time. He doesn't want to make that mistake twice.
I believe he threw the outturn on that blank attempt in the first end, and he's throwing the in-turn. Same side of the ice, but slightly different position.
Yep. Clean.
And we get the clean call. Skipper's going to be pleased with this one, and it's the blank. So we're going to go into the final end, the 8th end, and it may or may not be the final end, but the 8th and scheduled final end for this Ashley Home Store Curling Classic, with the score being Glenn Muirhead from Perth, Scotland, 7. Matt Dunstone from Regina, Saskatchewan, 5, but Matt Dunstone has the hammer.
top 4 tight.
Over on the other sheet, sheet D, we've got Ross Patterson from Glasgow up against Jason Gunlison. Gunlison having the hammer, but trailing 8-6.
That jacket.
Currently, Patterson's lying 2. They're in the 8th end, and they're into. They're still in at second stones.
There is a lot of action going on over there. There are a lot of guards in play, so there is a pretty good chance of that game finding its way to an extra end. So going into the last 8th end of regular play here in our semifinal between Dunstone and Muirhead. Muirhead is up 2 without the hammer, and looking at scoreboard statistics and probabilities, that would give him about a 73% chance of winning this game. Of course, there's always that other 27% of the time that things don't go according to the probabilities, and that comes from good rock position, good shots by the opposition, and perhaps a miss. But in the 5-rock rule, you want to make those shots as hard as possible, and that comes from the very first rock of the end here, where Team Muirhead wants that rock to be in a perfect position, make it as difficult as possible for Dunstone to deal with that rock later in the end. So they have selected to come down and bite the top 4 foot. That means that at some point during the end, Team Dunstone is going to have to figure out how they're going to invest a rock in getting rid of that rock while still trying to manufacture play towards the corner or play towards getting their second point.
In the 7th end, we saw this first stone that was called a guard slide into the rings and allow a hit, but their lead, Dustin Kidby, has managed to come up a little short, exactly where he wants it, in that free guard zone. So with the 5-rock rule,
same line, Cammy.
Rocks in that free guard zone are not allowed to be hit unless it's your own stone. So they're ignoring it, trying to set up an advantage for themselves here with a top stone above guarding their own.
So all of these teams have been in this kind of position again and again and again. They know their plays in these situations. They know exactly where they want these first 5 rocks of the end to go. They know what the opposition is going to call, and they keep track of these situations for their own numbers and their own confidence.
Gotta be right up to here.
Play to the best of the scoreboard and their own abilities to support their plays.
Took a wee curl, eh?
Lock this on, I think.
Looks like that rock dug in a little bit. They wanted it about 1.5 feet deeper, and it just dug in right at the end.
My concern is this double peel then, because he's going to go high one, right?
So now the decisions come in. Do you use that free guard zone and the 5-rock rule to put another rock up top?
I think if we're throwing a guard, it's here.
Or do you go in? So that's the discussion. Do we wrap around, or do we put up another corner guard?
So the situation here is often you see a team put up the corner guard on the same side of the sheet. However, with that blue rock, blocking the path to that red corner guard. There is a bit of a consideration as to whether they will be able to get around that corner guard if they have all the guards on that one side.
And this is always open, right? Okay.
Let's listen.
Yeah.
If they throw another corner,
I think it makes sense.
on this other side,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Well, we could easily throw another long guard. Eh? Yeah.
So they're going to guard their guard, 2 guards on one side, and hopefully be able to get their second point around those guards at some point, and also leave that whole side of the house open so that he can access the 4-foot and deal with that blue rock at some point,
Halfway.
or draw to the 4-foot.
Easy line.
The tight guard.
Okay, line's good. Line's good.
Oh, he's
Switch.
not throwing it.
Lots of line.
Oh, yeah.
We're still burying a piece of that. Yeah, I think so. Good. Great spot, Deuce.
Matt Dunstone
Attaboy.
trailing this game, but with the hammer, he's trailing by 2, playing this 8th and final scheduled end, but has the hammer. Score 7-5 for Glen Muirhead. We're in here at second stones
so,
now.
eh?
Throws a high one, then we freeze.
We could come in here.
Comes in, we run it.
Too easy for him to open it up. Long guard.
And really typical situation here with these rock placements. In our new 5-rock rule, this is a pattern you'll see again and again.
Sweeper's keeping this one clean. Looks like
Whoa then, whoa.
the line looks good.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good, guys. It's
So
good.
they've called a long guard, and by calling that shot, you would
I like it.
think that they are trying to steal a point here, but obviously they don't need to steal a point because they're 2 up. What they're trying to do is put the rocks in a
shot, babe.
position that make it as difficult as possible for Team Dunstone to be able to get 2 points, or to be able to get anything going too easily. They'll have to deal at some point with that rock on the 4-foot.
Over in the other semifinal action, they're
Good.
now into third
Good only.
stones, with Jason Gunlison
Good.
trailing
Lots of room.
8-6 to Ross Patterson, but
Lots
Gunlison
of
having
room.
the hammer currently.
Line's
Over
good.
there, we're into again, we're into
Deuce,
third
deuce.
stones, and
Mosky.
Ross Patterson's
Okay, we're only on
lying
a
2
quarter.
behind about 8 guards.
Only on a quarter. Good shot. Good.
Exactly where they asked for it.
15-5.
What a great call, trying to make sure that he can angle that in there and make it very
no
difficult
curl with
for
this.
Glen Muirhead to remove that stone.
Got like 7 or 8 rotations.
Yeah. That's good. That'll be good for Canada Cup, but yeah, oh fuck, you got a lot of work, lots of work with you. Yeah, get a tap.
Just top 12.
Then you do a much better setup.
It's the second stone.
Yep.
Thomas Muirhead playing the freeze,
Whoa.
just trying to get to the nose, or maybe even a little bit to the
Line's
inside
good.
of that red stone.
Kyle Smith. Wee bump. You gotta go for line. Hold the line. Whoa. Small bump. Atta boy.
We're seeing some real precision shots here in this last end.
Just
Good.
unlock it a bit.
What's that? No. We need to be able to see our blue rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, get it under to here.
They're usable.
Trying to get to the inside and open up that a little
Not
bit,
yet.
so he's lying second shot, and then leave, as they were discussing earlier, the red run back. What a terrific shot.
think this is your
over
shot.
in the other semifinal
No, not even.
That's bloody good
T-line.
there, Thomas.
as they play a little hit and roll in behind, removing
T-line.
We need
It's
to
good.
keep our
a
rock
Patterson
moving.
stone and then rolling behind cover and being shot. I'm sorry, second shot. Back over to our sheet. They're just looking for about a
He's always
back
tempted to get
I had you here last
back
time.
4 foot weight with the out turn.
Wee bump would have been nicer than that, actually. Just need to watch. He's got
Braden
some
Muscovy throwing the shot.
mess in here.
Sorry, that's Catlin Schneider in the hack. We're still at second stones.
Just
Through. Off then. Clean. Close. Close. Shut. Whoa. 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 Close. Shut. Whoa. Whoa.
It sounds like this is
whoa.
really close, on, off, and on and off.
Okay.
They just wanted to loosen those rocks up a little bit, change the angles, and
I'm thinking just half stone, peel.
keep their rocks alive there.
Just in,
I know
just
they were
beside
discussing
the
earlier
blue.
that red on the left hand, what it would be the viewer's left hand side, looking to be able to set it up so that they can play a run back of that
Yes.
red stone into the shot rock blue.
It'll not be a pocket. It's going to come into here.
Yeah,
And
you,
I'm sure that Glenn Muirhead's more than aware of that shot being there, so now he's looking at what he can do with this.
I think
yeah,
it's
these guys know where every single rock is here. They've got every
end
possible
up
shot
messing
still in
around.
mind.
He's got a bit of work to do if we make this.
Another terrific shot over there, and Patterson's rink bumping back and rolling to the side. And now their shot rock buried and taking away a really good angle for Jason Gunlison. And they're into skip stones down there. Gunlison trailing 8-6 in the 8th end, the final end, having the hammer and having 2 rocks left.
Kami, hard.
So with Muirhead being 2 up, coming home without the hammer, they want to see some red rocks go away, which they were able to get 1 out, and 1 is now behind the tee line. So things are,
Just top 8.
at this moment, looking fairly favorable for Team Muirhead. However, there are still 4 Team Dunstone rocks left to come, and lots of stuff going on there that they can make better.
Offline.
Just
The
one-
most rocks we've seen in play in the game so far,
Deuce.
and Braden
No
Muscovy
deuce.
coming down here trying to
No,
just nuzzle in
Clean.
by those blue stones.
Clean. Clean. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Great shot.
What a lovely shot. Little blue pocket there, and it's like Braden
Trees walk.
walked that rock down and just placed it where he wanted it. That's not easy.
The angles are favorable for sure with that
Yes,
red
so-
coming in on the angle to get rid of that blue and maybe lie 3 when he's done. So Glenn Muirhead may be looking to move things around just a little bit, make it a little more difficult for him to try and get his 2 out of this.
We've had some great curling this
I
morning
hear.
here.
And all weekend long.
Yeah, all week
Yeah, I
long
agree.
at the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic in Penticton here in the
Well-
Okanagan. 2 big finishes coming down in these semifinals, which will determine who's going to be playing in the final just a short time from now. Again, on this same location on YouTube.
Oh, what a terrific shot.
Not exactly what he called, I don't think, but
No, but he's lying 1 now and maybe has an opportunity to get his 2 out of this and tie the game over there with Jason Gunlison.
yeah.
So
lot-
Jason Gunlison trailing by 2 to Ross Patterson from Scotland. And Patterson trying to hold on to this 2-point
Easy.
lead without the hammer. Back over in our sheet of play.
Sweat. Got it.
Where? Right off.
Glenn Muirhead leading 7-5, but does not have the hammer, so he's trying to hold on. And just kind of nuzzling down again, trying to just such delicate play within an inch of each other and changing the angles up and trying to make it almost impossible to remove his shot rock or to get two out of this. So now they're looking at that angle run back they've been talking about all game long, or all end long, I should say.
As long as we get low. Nose is pretty darn good too, because then it's going to chisel over, right?
They have the one opportunity here. That redstone is set up, and this shot won't be here again. I don't think if they don't play it. If they don't play it now.
Like, you saying this? No, like you could easily get. I don't know if we want to get to here though, right? Because then that's not fun. I think this is our nose to leave this kind of Christmas tree, right? Yep. Yep. Just hack. Nose is as good as any. Nose, you're going to push it over, throws into it. How does hack right here look?
A lot of confidence there by Matt Dunstone in clarifying exactly what he wants to see happen here, passing the information on to Braden and give him the confidence to know exactly what he wants to do. It's a game of angles here in this 8th end, and as Jock mentioned, there's a bit of an opportunity here for Dunstone that won't come back again after this shot. When you see all those rocks clustered like that in the house, the tendency might be to overthrow it to try to make things go away, but this is a delicate touch shot.
Clean. Yeah. Yes. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Hard. No roll. No roll. Good.
Wow, not as many rocks moved as I thought would move on that one.
Well, that's lined up.
Muirhead still lying one, but acknowledging that that's all lined up right now.
What's the call then? Has he got anything on this?
If it's if you hit that red top one on the red on the nose, Elaine,
this is checked.
it doesn't look like he's going to remove that blue stone. He's going to have to catch it fairly thin across the face, but I don't know that that's there anymore.
Yeah, we are looking at this at about a 45-degree angle, so
We're on the sheet beside it, and the camera is as well. So we're both looking at, we're all looking at the same, but the live view for me is that if you don't touch that red stone right now, the blue is in the way, and it will not promote that red one into the other blue one.
Not a lot, because then yes. I think we guard here.
So I think they've come to the same conclusion that there really isn't a whole lot there that they can do to get their two, except that red run back still sitting there.
Maybe on that blue.
Like Rudolph's nose blinking at me.
Just now, aye.
It's a very precise shot over there on the side, but that red run back, I think they're saving that for the whole game. So they're going to block up the one side and force them into that situation.
Just guard the blue. I don't like this. Snowford. I had you in here for your draw.
I was wide on the draw.
Yeah.
And we're over on the other on sheet D. We're down to skip stones right now, or final rock. This is the hammer.
Well,
Jason Gunlison is trailing 8-6
the
with the hammer, and this is the hammer, and he's throwing about a 15-foot run back.
Double run back for 3.
If we go.
And the win.
Yeah, tight, yeah.
Sweepers are on it, you can hear it, and the angle is back, but not quite right. He's taken out, and it's going to be a steal of 1 and a Ross Patterson from Glasgow, Scotland, taking the victory with a 9-6 final over the Morris, Manitoba. Jason Gunlison, what a terrific game though. Lots of rocks in play, fun to watch. Let's back to our action here. Glenn Muirhead throwing over in the other semifinal action. First skip stone for him. He's just guarding the bit of a dog's breakfast over there on the one side. He's got a 7-5 lead, but again, Muirhead does not have the hammer. And Matt Dunstone from Regina does have the hammer here in the 8th and final scheduled end. So he's guarded that side up, and I think that leaves this one shot. I could be wrong. There might be something I'm missing here, Elaine.
Well, there's 2 rocks to come.
Here, she's quick there.
Let's listen in.
Didn't think I gave you much there. What did I give you there? 310 or something. 310 or something.
It's a hell of a shot because we've got them both ways.
He's got to draw somewhere like that. Then.
Yeah,
If we dead nose,
I think that's pretty good. Came a wee bit further than I would have liked. I didn't
and our 6L counts it. It's a hell of a good shot.
Or do we just make something like that now? Because we're always going to have that, right?
Sure.
Like just make that with a good board, even if we just pick this off.
Not at this board. I don't see 3 ever.
On,
Kill that and just push the 6
like
here.
even if I hit it too thin, right, we go into that, suddenly that angle's a lot better, right? And we always have the 2.
And if you get rid of the 1, can you see into the 5?
No. Maybe an inch.
So,
I'm just worried if you make this, it guards that.
well then we've got this for the win. If you're dead on the, I think you're dead on the nose with this.
Okay.
With peel, I think.
That or this soft and get.
You're
Soft
only lying
just sticks
one,
around.
and you're only line 1 if you make it good.
Nose?
I think so.
Nose, we got him runs on both sides.
I think if you make it good, man,
I think it's going to drag back and actually come this way.
that's great.
It's stuck
Man.
where is it spinning?
Well,
you just don't want to like handcuff yourself
Why?
there, right?
Well,
Or is it going to go far?
it's gonna go.
It's
for
going to
sure.
go.
It might leave the rings.
Well, do we want it to? I don't think we want it to leave the rings, though.
No.
Because that's our 3rd point, right? What if we play normal on the nose?
So what about this then?
Then it probably jams. Yeah.
We're gonna have.
I
either
think
way for the win.
I think I like leaving one there, though.
Yeah.
I think so, right? I think that was normal.
Man, if I don't think so. Not right now. I don't think.
For those of you watching live, it's
think we gotta
7-5 is the
keep my
score,
shooter up
playing
there.
the final end, the 8th end here.
I think that with firm and hope it
Muirhead
just
leading
sticks over here.
7-5. Matt Dunstone from Regina
But
having
I
the
think we
hammer
can go
and
really
down
hard
to-
for it because if I hit it low
we're
and we
down
make
to
that even like
the first Matt Dunstone rock, first skip
Yep.
stone.
if I just skinny the guard, the way I've been throwing out there and run backs today, it's a gimme.
So this has been a really great conversation
Where do you
here.
think the ones go? If we
It's
nose,
a,
you
it's
think
a
the
great
ones come and go?
situation for Team Dunstone
I think
because
if
they
we
have a
nose, the
lot of
ones
rocks in play and
I
they
think
have
it's gonna come this
several
way.
possibilities here. They're just weighing their options to see which shot is going to leave them with the
think we got a
best
better
options
chance
on
of
the
spinning
next
it off
one.
this way.
And they're definitely going to have something to deal with after this shot.
Dead nut. We're sitting right there.
By promoting that blue rock short of the house onto the red
Like
rock,
right on the nose?
they're thinking that
I think even if
one or
right
two
on the
of those
nose, even if we
blue
nut it, we
is
always have
gonna
a shot
go,
for 2.
Honestly, if you're a hair
and
high,
they're going to leave a red rock there that they can still do something
Yeah.
with on the next shot. They would have a red rock on each
Yeah,
side
it
of
comes over
the
and
center
stab it.
line
Okay. Normal?
for their next one.
Right, just off the middle with normal.
So I think he was making a little bit of a joke that they haven't had 100% success with their run-throughs so far today. So the odds are mounting up that they are going to connect perfectly with one of these run backs. It is his bread and butter. It's a huge strength of this team, and if I was Team Muirhead, I don't know if I'd really want to see Team Dunstone throwing this shot right now.
Lots of opportunities here, but again, it's a very precise shot here. It's you know, the margin for error on this hit is not huge, but Dunstone obviously very confident.
Whoa. Whoa. Up. Yep. Yeah! Hard!
That's a great shot. That's a really great shot. They've got
Real good, eh?
2 angles in on those corner guards to promote onto those 2 red rocks.
Now I got the one
And
double.
they are looking for 3 to win this game and 2 to tie this game. Muirhead is possibly going to have to draw for second shot to.
So he needs to look at now taking away the opportunity. Yes, that's an almost automatic double raise, but if he's lying shot on the side, then they can't even play that shot. So he's got to, right now he's looking at how do I set this up so there's absolutely no chance of a double. So really, it's a fairly simplistic thing. You know, lie two, make it double impossible.
We don't need too much.
So he wants to draw this just behind the tee line.
Yeah.
And he's got to look at 2 angles. If he's got to make sure that there's no slash roll across to double out both blues that way, and there's no run back, because that red, again, the one that I was saying, is flashing at me like a Rudolph's nose is actually angled up. He doesn't want to be right in there in that pocket. So he's got to be really careful with these angles. And then it's all about the sweepers and their weight. You know, you let go of that rock, you put it in their hands, that they're going to make sure that that rock gets to the tee line.
And this is where those rehearsal draws from earlier in the game pay off. He had a couple of chances to play a draw to the 4-foot, and he's reflecting back on the confidence from having made those shots in order to put this one right in the right spot.
Switch.
Sweepers are on it right away, but to me from up here, it doesn't look like it needs
Come
all
on,
that
get
much
it
sweeping.
T-line, boys.
They're trying to get it to curl in there.
Get our T-line.
It's got to get to the tee line so he doesn't leave the slash double. And he gets in there for second shot, but he's left the run back double there for multiple points and a win. So it looks pretty simple right now for Matt Dunstone. He ran out there and basically called the shot before the rock even stopped.
That rock needed to travel another 2 feet. They did sweep it for weight
Right out of his hand from
out
the
of his
get-go.
hand.
No, there's no.
But that track just seemed to hold for a long time. It didn't really want to curl until late. And I can't tell, because of our angle, if it got buried behind a guard, that front rock, even a little bit, that would make things a little more challenging. So right now he's looking at the slash.
Thick third, yeah.
And I don't like to be a predictor of things, but that hole between the 2 blue stones actually looks like a rock could fit through it. For the people at home watching on TV, you know, it's close. So there is a double there, an in-off on that, but it also looks like it could go right through that hole if not quite right. So Dunstone up or trailing by 2, and he's throwing the hammer right now. He's down by 2, and he's got the last rock advantage, down 7-5 in this final end. And here we go.
Great finish to this game. We didn't know if it would be this close, with Team Scotland being up 2 points most of the game.
The big weight out turn hit.
Close. Whoa.
And he's slashing that rock into the pack. And just doesn't come up quite enough. It's a steal of 1 for Muirhead. It's going to be an all-Scottish final as Glenn Muirhead takes this game 8-5 over Matt Dunstone from Regina. It's going to be an all-Scotland final as Ross Patterson defeats Jason Gunlinson over on the other sheet with the 9-6 final and an 8-5 over here. And it's an all-Scottish final. It's Jock Tyre here with Elaine Dag-Jackson at the semifinal action of the Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. Elaine, a lot of fun today.
We had a great game here today. Thanks everybody for tuning in for this semifinal game. We will be back very shortly, back at this same location with the final All-Scotland final, and we'll see you all again shortly.
11:45 is the final time for this Ashley Home Store Curling Classic. Is 11:45 is your draw time. Thanks for paying attention. We'll look forward to seeing you in a couple hours.